Jiang Fan faces the slaughter steep, but the Jian family has some very specific rewards in mind. The heaven-slaying furnace has a purpose no one expected. Leave a like and subscribe to walk this path. Luo said without hesitation, "Of course it's for boiling water." Jiang Fan was stunned and the six-path masters were also surprised. Boiling what? Boiling water. But this is a top-grade spiritual artifact and you're using it to boil water. Bai Luo affirmed, "That's right. Isn't a furnace just for boiling water?" That does make sense. But this use is somewhat too plain and ordinary, isn't it? It doesn't match at all with such a brutal and domineering name like heaven-slaying furnace. Bai Luo tried to recall something and said, "Oh right, my master occasionally uses it to stew soup." Jiang Fan rolled his eyes. He kicked the heaven-slaying furnace in disgust. "No wonder your master left the heaven-slaying furnace here unchecked. Turns out it's useless." Six-path masters stroked his chin and pondered. "Why does it feel like I've heard of the name heaven-slaying furnace before? Kid, how about you give me this heaven-slaying furnace?" Bai Luo picked up the furnace in one swoop and handed it to Jiang Fan, casting a sidelong glance at six-path masters. "This is for my brother Fan, don't even think about it." Jiang Fan couldn't refuse. He had no choice but to store away both the Tingsu sword and the heaven-slaying furnace. As the heaven-slaying furnace was stored away, the high temperature around quickly faded, turning chilly, even somewhat intensely cold. Jiang Fan looked toward the source of the cold air. It turned out to be a corner peeking out from some collapsed ruins. Pushing away the debris, it was indeed a pale-colored star. "Is this from the Giant King?" He remembered the pale star on the Giant King's forehead. The body was melted away completely, but the star remained. Jiang Fan showed a face of astonishment. Six-path masters stroked his beard and said, "This is the original star condensed by the ancient giants. It's equivalent to the divine ring of our human clan's divinity transformation realm. In that case, the giant here is the ice giant." Jiang Fan was surprised and pondered. "Do giants have different types?" Six-path masters nodded. "Naturally. In our central Earth realm, there are all races numbering in tens of thousands. How could the ancient giants possibly be all cut from the same mold? However, they only become distinguishable when they reach the Giant King level. And the most notable distinction is the star on their forehead. From what I know, they not only have ice giants but also fire giants, wind giants, poison giants, among others. In short, they vary in multitude and each has its differences." Jiang Fan felt a chill in his heart. So when ancient giants reach the Giant King level, besides having intensely strong bodies, they also possess various origin powers. This is quite troublesome indeed. I wonder which type of Giant King true word venerable encountered. Looking at the star on the ground, Jiang Fan stroked his chin. "Let's throw it to Jiangshan first-class building, see if anyone wants it, and exchange for a soul jade paper." Of course, he dared not directly pick up items from the divinity transformation realm. He took out the beast horn and launched a soul attack at the star. Soul-shocking stab! Six-path masters was not too surprised. Bai Luo, however, looked astonished. "Are you being too cautious?" Who would have thought, under this soul-shocking stab, a scream from the Giant King emerged from the star. A drop of golden blood oozed out from the star. The golden blood wrapped around the star, then quickly developed into blood vessels, meridians, skeleton, flesh, and skin. In an instant, a 6-Shanghai little giant surprisingly grew out of thin air. Not to mention Jiang Fan, even the knowledgeable six-path masters was frightened. A drop of blood growing into an ancient giant? Judging by the height, it should be in an infant state. But the star on its forehead, doesn't it mean once it grows up, it would naturally become a new Giant King? However, he's clutching his head and howling in agony. Clearly, Jiang Fan's soul-shocking stab had inflicted destructive damage on him. Jiang Fan, my last trace of soul was also destroyed by you. I won't spare you even as a ghost." His distorted facial features roared, emitting a venomous howl, originally unable to withstand the fire column. His soul left his body and hid in the star, thinking to escape doom. Luckily, although the fire column heavily injured the soul body in the star, it left a trace of remnant soul, relying on the drop of blood left in the star. He could be reborn from a drop of blood. More fortunately, Jiang Fan unknowingly discovered the star and planned to take it back. This gave him a chance for revenge, but never in his wildest dreams did he expect. Jiang Fan inexplicably gave the star a soul-shocking stab, beating his remnant soul to oblivion. This guy's dog of a mother is not human. Jiang Fan was startled. It turned out to be that Giant King. He wasn't completely dead. He immediately grasped the beast horn, launched a soul attack. Soul-shocking stab, soul-shocking stab, soul-shocking stab. One after another soul-shocking stabs were unleashed. The giant king's eyes rolled white and he fell straight down. Jiang Fan didn't stop there. Until Jiang Fan's soul was nearly exhausted, only then did he have to stop, saying, "This time it should be dead, right?" Bai Luo looked strange. Heard of whipping corpses, never seen whipping souls. She even felt a bit sorry for this giant king. Whoever he encounters today, he could escape disaster. But he happened to encounter Jiang Fan, this ridiculously cautious guy. Six-Path Masters twitched the corners of his mouth. Who can withstand your soul-shocking stab attacks? Even King Yama would be afraid. Jiang Fan touched his nose. He picked off the star from the six Zhang giant's body. As for the giant transformed from the drop of blood, Jiang Fan raised the purple sword, habitually wanting to chop off the head. On second thought, he stored the corpse away instead. Let's first see what power Evil Crow Venerable had when he refined the ancient giant into a yin corpse. If the effect is shocking, he might secretly try to refine an ancient giant corpse too. This divinity transformation relics has been completely destroyed. Jiang Fan looked at Bai Luo and her family of 3, saying, "If you have nowhere to go, come to my heavenly mechanism pavilion. I'll provide you accommodations for free." Bai Luo rolled her eyes. "Just say you want me and Yellow Springs to be stationed at your heavenly mechanism pavilion. And provided accommodations for free? I can see you're quite a slick one," having witnessed Jiang Fan's various methods and schemes today. How could she not know that Jiang Fan's seemingly honest and simple demeanor was an act? However, precisely because of this, they were bound together. He saved her family today. Therefore, she didn't blame him. Instead, she felt somewhat grateful. Cough, cough. Jiang Fan's face turned slightly red and said, "Not at all. I'm a straightforward person. Sister Bai, will you go or not?" Before Bai Luo could speak, Little Tiger excitedly said, "Mom, I want to go to Uncle's house." Bai Luo was taken aback, laughing angrily. "Good for you, Jiang Fan. You've coaxed my son into calling you uncle. Looks like I'm going whether I want to or not." Jiang Fan chuckled. "That's settled then." Suddenly, he realized something and said, "By the way, how come your family's cultivation wasn't affected? I remember if you leave the divinity transformation relics, your cultivation should drop to below nascent soul, right?" Bai Luo glanced at Six-Path Masters and then looked into Jiang Fan's eyes without speaking. Evidently, she had something to say to Jiang Fan alone. Jiang Fan understood. He initiated the mute Zen, establishing a connection with her heart spirit. "You asked once before and I did not answer you then." Bai Luo said thus. "Firstly, because I did not trust you enough at that time. Secondly, you were still in the core formation realm and you might not have understood even if I told you." Jiang Fan nodded lightly. "If Sister Bai feels it's inconvenient, you need not say anything. Everyone has their secrets, it's all right." Bai Luo said, "You have been a great benefactor to our family and I don't know how to repay you. Telling you this is a way of considering you as one of us. Someday I hope it can bring you some opportunity." Oh. Hearing her speak so solemnly, Jiang Fan also listened seriously. Bai Luo said, "Before he left, the master said that the divinity transformation relics are where our family of 3 finds shelter and establishes ourselves. Before his return, we should not venture out, lest we encounter misfortune. Thus, he cast a domain upon our family of 3, and once we leave the divinity transformation relics, our cultivation will suffer greatly." Jiang Fan listened silently. At first, he felt nothing particular, but gradually a sense of dread crept in. This relic was once an ancient kingdom. The North Sea Demon Emperor once said he never imagined the present North Sea was once a continent, fields becoming a vast sea. This must have happened at least 1,000 years ago. The master of this place, could the domain cast by Long Yan Venerable still maintain its effects after a millennium? How is it possible? No matter how long the Venerable's lifespan, it couldn't possibly reach 1,000 years, unless— He swallowed gently. Bai Luo continued, "I asked the master what if the relic is destroyed. He said the domain would automatically disappear, and he would sense it." At this point, Bai Luo stopped. She meaningfully said, "Fan, the fact that our domain has just vanished means something, you should understand, right? The master should have already sensed our situation by now. If he values our master-servant relationship and comes to find us, Fan, seize the opportunity." Jiang Fan finally understood what opportunity Bai Luo was referring to. Her master is likely a figure in the wise man realm now. If he still acknowledges their family of 3, he will soon come. He cupped his hands, saying, "Thank you, Sister Bai, for your planning." Bai Luo sighed softly. It's enough that you have it in your heart, but don't hold too many expectations. Our family of 3 came here through sleep. 1,000 years is but a dream. The master, however, endured day by day, year after year through these 1,000 years. To him, we are very distant old companions from his time as a venerable. He may not care for us as he did 1,000 years ago. Jiang Fan listened and nodded slightly. Time fades everything. After 1,000 years, even the deepest of bonds may become bland, even forgotten. Moreover, Bai Luo's family of 3 were merely his spiritual pets. He comforted. Sister Bai, stay assured at the Heavenly Mechanism Pavilion. Whether or not your master comes to find you, you will be treated well. Sister Bai nodded lightly. Thank you, Fan. What are you 2 whispering behind my back? The 6 Path Masters looked suspiciously at the 2 people who suddenly stopped talking. He immediately realized they were communicating with mute Zen. Jiang Fan shrugged, praising you, saying you are cunning, astute, and full of dark schemes. The 6 Path Masters chuckled. The big brother laughs at the second brother. You even tricked a divinity transformation realm who's more cunning than you? Jiang Fan couldn't be bothered to banter. He looked around to confirm nothing was missed, then prepared to leave with the others. Suddenly, a tremendous sound erupted in the distant seabed. Their gaze sharpened. Jiang Fan's eyes flickered before swiftly heading over. Is it the great Yin sect master or the hell beast in front of a trench? Elder Xiang, transformed by the hell beast, was filled with shock and anger. Jiangshan first-class building owner. What's with your body? The Jiangshan first-class building owner looked at his arm, bitten off. The wound showed no blood, only a dark, hollow gap. He did not answer, but gazed at the hell beast and the ancient giant beside it with a stone sword in its heart. You are truly deceitful, this particular Elder Xiang, since he was intimate with the giant king. His identity was not hard to guess, should indeed be the hell beast. Since the moment he emerged, he had been following the hell beast, wanting to see what other intentions it had. No one knew its goal was the body of Jiangshan first-class building owner. Elder Xiang's identity was already exposed. This body could no longer be used. Hence, a new body was needed. And the Jiangshan first-class building owner with 5 apertures nascent soul, master of a commerce alliance's major sect. Made for a perfect target. The Jiangshan first-class building owner thought he had stealthily followed the hell beast, unaware it was the hell beast intentionally letting him follow. And in the vicinity of this trench, coordinating with the hidden ancient giant, launching a surprise attack. If not for his many tactics, he would have fallen. The hell beast's expression changed, murmuring, "Let's go quickly." Earlier, Jiangshan first-class building owner detonated a talisman, causing a massive commotion. If Jiang Fan and the others died in the divinity transformation relics, that would be better. If not, they would inevitably come here. Without hesitation, the hell beast stood up to flee, and turning his gaze, he instructed, "We'll split up. If you can't get away, remember to smash your own head as the giant king instructed. Don't leave a whole corpse for the great Yin sect." Did you hear? The ancient giant nodded, fleeing towards another direction. Soon after, Jiang Fan and the 6 Path Masters arrived at the scene. Jiang Fan glanced at the Jiangshan first-class building owner, who clutched his arm, saying, "The hell beast ran that way, the ancient giant ran this way." Jiang Fan's spirit was electrified. These 2 are important figures. His gaze narrowed. "Old man, you chased the ancient giant alive. Don't let him die." The 6 Path Masters laughed. "He wants to smash his own head. Wishful thinking." Immediately, with a playful tone, he took out the sky observation treasure and chased after. Jiang Fan cupped his hands to the Jiangshan first-class building owner. "Thanks for the guidance, owner." He took out a piece of space-time dust, a revitalizing pill. "Your trade item and a healing pill." The Jiangshan first-class building owner showed joy in receiving them, saying, "I said your heavenly mechanism pavilion would be my valued client. This deal, very profitable." Jiang Fan took the opportunity to glance at his arm. Noticing the dark, hollow space inside, his brows furrowed. Is this a human body? Recalling the Jiangshan first-class building owner was with him in the East Seas cave a moment earlier. The next moment, he was with the great Yin sect master at the divinity transformation relics. And the various occasions in the past, the Jiangshan first-class building owner was present. Once or twice was coincidence. 3 or 4 times still coincidence? He asked with intent. "Owner, do you know the clone technique?" Building put away 2 items and laughed. "Want to know? Pay me." He extended his palm. Jiang Fan rolled his eyes. "Pretend I didn't ask." He leaped and chased in the direction where the hell beast was fleeing. Given his understanding of the hell beast, this fellow definitely wouldn't move in a straightforward direction. But that doesn't matter. As long as he gets within 500 miles, he can find a way to capture it. He estimated the Hell Beast's movement technique at the 4 apertures nascent soul level. Jiang Fan used Cloud Shadow to chase for the duration of a tea session and decisively stopped. The distance between the two is within 500 miles now. This is exactly the range within which the void fishing rod can accurately fish. He closed his eyes, imagined the appearance of Elder Xiang in his mind, and cast the rod. At this moment, the Hell Beast hid within some seemingly ordinary seabed sand. Not only did it conceal its aura, it also stuck a precious high-grade, dustless talisman onto itself. Even nascent soul realm entities couldn't detect its presence. It sneered inwardly. "Jiang Fan, you used a high-grade, dustless talisman to evade my pursuit back then, right? Now the tables have turned. Now I'm using the high-grade, dustless talisman to evade you. You should taste the feeling of an invisibility talisman," while thinking. It suddenly sensed the sand moving slightly, as if something tiny was burrowing into it. At first, it assumed it was just a small fish and paid no mind, until its neck was hooked by an ice-cold golden fishhook. The Hell Beast's expression changed drastically. It threw off the sand covering its body. Only then did it realize a void fisher had appeared behind it. A fishing line extended from nowhere. It instinctively tried to resist, but the fishing line suddenly exerted force, pulling it toward the void fisher. The Hell Beast was petrified. In this critical moment, it decisively shrank its body, transforming into a palm-sized Hell Beast, and fell out of its clothes. Whoosh, the fishhook pulled away with its clothes. The Hell Beast slapped its forehead, urgently chasing after it and shouting, "I still have a space storage device inside those clothes." However, the fisher closed, leaving it helpless. It couldn't understand what happened, but intuitively knew the opponent might strike again. Thus, it decisively fled. Indeed, as soon as it escaped the 500 miles range, a golden fishhook grazed past it. This frightened the Hell Beast into a cold sweat. "Is it Jiang Fan?" Calming itself down, it was both furious and hateful. "The giant king I painstakingly resurrected was destroyed by you. Jiang Fan, you always ruin my plans. I won't let this go." It opened its mouth and spat out another space storage device. Upon seeing inside, it revealed several bottles of true spirit blood. "Fortunately, I still have the true spirit blood. Enough for another plan? Hopefully. The ancient giant doesn't fall into the hands of the great Yin sect. He has survived these 1,000 years by consuming the giant king's flesh. He has amassed a substantial amount of the giant king's blood within. Once he obtains the stars, he can instantly resurrect, regaining most of his cultivation. If the evil crow venerable hasn't found the blood, it wouldn't be bad. If it is found, it will be troublesome. The giant king will never have the chance to resurrect through blood elsewhere." Jiang Fan cast the rod one last time, but it was still empty. "That cunning thing!" His expression darkened. It was the first time using the void fishing rod to capture someone, and the opponent succeeded in escaping. Looking at the pile of clothes reeled in, he was about to throw them away. But suddenly, he noticed a talisman stuck on the clothes, revealing a joyful expression. "High-grade dustless talisman? This guy got quite a few good things from Sanking Mountain." He immediately took the talisman with half its effect remaining and placed it into the space storage device. Then he continued searching through the clothes. Rolling, a space storage device rolled out from the sleeve. Jiang Fan found it familiar. Soon he remembered, exclaiming, "Yan Daon's space storage device." He was taken aback. This space storage device was initially Jiang Fan's loot after killing Yan Daon. Later, he used its restriction to severely injure the carefree master of the Divine Movement sect, and it fell into his hands. Finally, the carefree master was eaten by the Hell Beast, and it ended up in its possession. Now, after a twist of fate, it returned to Jiang Fan. He remembered how Yan Daon used a thunder extension order of the heavenly abyss heart to trick him into opening the space storage device and trigger the trap within. He also remembered the owner of Jiangshan first-class building, who personally came to the continent to find Yan Daon and retrieve this space storage device. His eyes heated up. Immediately, he opened the space storage device. Inside were various miscellaneous items, some belonging to Yan Daon and others to the Hell Beast. Soon, a thunder extension order left in the corner, deemed useless by the Hell Beast, entered his consciousness. He promptly took it out, and upon examining its contents, he was instantly delighted. It really is the Heavenly Abyss Heart, the fourth part, and it's the complete version. He smiled, daring not to imagine what the expression of Wan Jai Temple Venerable would be when it realized he has mastered yet another of the Heavenly Thunder 6 parts. Then he continued searching. Soon discovered a strange red jade box, covered in sealing marks and engraved with the words Gongsun Yan's gift. It seemed like a woman's item. This clearly wasn't the belonging of either the Hell Beast or Yan Daeon. Who is Gongsun Yan? He took out the red jade box and opened it. Inside there was only a letter and a plain copper coin. Jiang Fan wondered. This red jade box is worth hundreds of times more than a copper coin, isn't it? After pondering, he curiously opened the letter. The words were few, but the written words made Jiang Fan pause slightly. Lianjing, safe upon seeing this letter. Our affinity started with this copper coin. Today I return it, the bond ends here. The beginnings and endings of fate, life is like a dream and shadows. May in the next life I remain a beggar and you a passer-by beauty. Don't linger for me anymore. It turns out it was someone near dying, leaving their final words to a loved one they couldn't attain. He closed the letter apologetically and returned the red jade box to its place. Questions rose in his heart. Who is this Gongsun Yan? Why do they intend to die? No matter. I'm about to die, how can I care about others? He flew back to the trench to join the others. The six-path masters had returned, stepping on a wailing ancient giant. The ancient giant was wrapped with chains like a dumpling, even suicide was difficult. Upon seeing Jiang Fan return, he kicked it over to Jiang Fan and clapped his hands, saying, "The ancient giant has been captured for you. But do you have a plan for exchanging Evil Crow Venerable's cultivation technique? Be cautious, this Evil Crow Venerable isn't a good person. Don't let him refuse your request and forcibly take your ancient giant." Jiang Fan smiled slightly. Relax. He wouldn't dare. He clearly had a plan. At that moment, outside the Heavenly Mechanism Pavilion, Wei Wuji bowed respectfully. "Senior, this is the new Tianji Pavilion. Jiang Fan, whom you're looking for, is inside." Heart Calamity Venerable glanced at the words, Heavenly Mechanism Pavilion. His eyes turned icy cold and he laughed chillingly. "My good disciple, you like playing, don't you? Then let your master play with you." Pavilion's Gate Tower. An invisible killing aura spread, affecting the surroundings. The Heavenly Mechanism Pavilion Master and the slave Heart Demon Emperor and others sensed it and soared into the air one after another. Seeing it was an old man with a divine ring behind his head, the Heavenly Mechanism Pavilion Master's pupils narrowed. He forced himself to stay calm and said, "Honorable Venerate, I am the Heavenly Mechanism Pavilion Master. May I ask for your instructions?" Venerate Zinni arrogantly scanned the surroundings with a harsh look in his old eyes. "Where is Jiang Fan? Is he here to trouble Jiang Fan?" The Heavenly Mechanism Pavilion Master turned his eyes, his face unchanged, and said, "Honored Venerate, Jiang Fan is currently at the Kinshin Bureau. If you have any instructions for him, I can convey them on your behalf." He could only bring up the name of the Kinshin Bureau, hoping that the Venerate with such terrifying power in front of him would have some scruples. Kinshin Bureau. Venerate Zinni's eyes squinted slightly. This organization was created by the sages of the past, and even today it still has the shadow of the sages behind it. Of course, he was wary of it. However, what does Jiang Fan have to do with the Kinshin Bureau? In his suspicion, Wei Wuji coldly laughed and said, "Honored Venerate, he's lying. Jiang Fan is not at the Kinshin Bureau at all. Just a day ago, I saw him in the East Sea. They dare to deceive you, Honored Venerate, just to protect Jiang Fan. If you don't mete out punishment, they might think you are easy to manipulate." Venerate Zinni's eyes erupted with hostility. He glared coldly at the Heavenly Mechanism Pavilion Master. And with just one look, the Pavilion Master's body shook, and he couldn't help but open his mouth and spit out a mouthful of blood. "You dare to deceive me?" The Heavenly Mechanism Pavilion Master wiped away the blood from the corner of his mouth and coldly stared at Wei Wuji. "Do you hold a grudge against Jiang Fan?" "No grudge," Wei Wuji retorted righteously. "But since Jiang Fan is being pursued by the Honored Venerate, he must have done something wrong. I am helping the Honored Venerate, it's just upholding justice. Is there anything wrong with that?" Shameless. The Heavenly Mechanism Pavilion Master coldly glanced at him, then looked at Venerate Zinni. He said solemnly, "Honored Venerate, Jiang Fan can move the connecting sky-black pillar. Soon, it will be used in the battle against the ancient giants, indirectly reducing many casualties. Could you consider this and spare Jiang Fan for now? Allow him to make amends on the battlefield?" Venerate Zinni said indifferently. "How many people die in Taikang State has nothing to do with me. I will only ask you once. Where is Jiang Fan?" The Heavenly Mechanism Pavilion Master's heart sank. This person is not a Venerate of Taikang State, and he is determined to kill Jiang Fan. Saying anything is useless. Seeing everyone remain silent, Wei Wuji ruthlessly said, "Honored Venerate, kill a few to wake them up." Venerate Zinni's eyes narrowed and the murderous aura around him surged. At this moment, a gentle voice came, "True word, Venerable, Jiang Fan will be back soon." "You don't need to worry, true word, Venerable." Venerate Zinni heard this and looked over, his old eyes suddenly shrinking. He saw two women in white, beautiful as a painting, strolling within the heavenly mechanism pavilion. One of them was indeed the true word, Venerable. He was startled. How is she here? The heavenly mechanism pavilion master realized immediately. This was Fairy Yun Shang deliberately arranging for the true word, Venerable, to show up. He cupped his hands and said, "Honored Venerate, true word, Venerable is guarding the heavenly mechanism pavilion for Jiang Fan." Venerate Zinni was quite surprised. She is guarding the heavenly mechanism pavilion for Jiang Fan? What is their relationship? The heavenly mechanism pavilion master chuckled lightly. "Honored Venerate is joking." "Young men and women, it's just that sort of thing, isn't it?" he said ambiguously. He thought to himself, "I didn't say anything. If rumors spread, it has nothing to do with me. You want to find someone, go find Jiang Fan." Venerate Zinni's eyes showed puzzlement. Is it possible for the true word, Venerable, to have such a relationship with Jiang Fan? Impossible, right? But seeing the true word, Venerable, and Jiang Fan's woman walking side by side into the main hall, seeming as equals, he couldn't help but somewhat believe. What should he do now? With the true word, Venerable, present, he couldn't just kill the people of the heavenly mechanism pavilion up front, could he? Wei Wuji was filled with jealousy. This damned Jiang Fan, having two peerless beauties, with one of them being the true word, Venerable, is not enough. He still wants to monopolize the Yizhu demon emperor. Absolutely detestable. His gaze shifted, and he transmitted his voice. "Honored Venerate, I received news from the Kinshin Bureau that every sect needs to send a strong individual to the connecting Sky Black Pillar. It is likely that Heavenly Mechanism Pavilion will send Jiang Fan. We can lie in wait at the connecting Sky Black Pillar." Venerate Zinni's gaze turned cold as he nodded. "Jiang Fan must die. Even if he clings to the true word, Venerable, it makes no difference." He took a long look at the grand hall where the true word, Venerable, had entered and then turned to leave. As he was about to depart, he suddenly became aware of something amiss. The true word, Venerable's divine ring, but as the thought arose, he set it aside. The affairs of Taikang State had nothing to do with him, and he couldn't be bothered with them. As the two departed, the heavenly mechanism pavilion master let out a long breath, looking toward the direction of the connecting Sky Black Pillar, his brows furrowing once again. "We are safe, but Jiang Fan, you must stay safe." At that time, in the heartland of Taikang State, the most dangerous place, a big blue ox mooed loudly, galloping out of the black forbidden land. On its back, the heavenly mechanism elder with a gray and dirty face was patting off the smoke attached to his body. The origin of thunder, which protected them and floated above his chest, had dimmed considerably, almost died in there. But, as expected, the remains of venerable misfortune were tampered with. His blood was drained dry. In our central Earth realm, there are no beings who cultivate by absorbing human blood. The heavenly mechanism elder's expression turned grave. He looked toward the direction of the continent. If there were, it could only be from the bloodthirsty Shura lineage of the Hell Realm. It seems the glimpse of divine mechanism I intercepted back then wasn't wrong. We have a strong being from the Hell Realm mixed into our central Earth realm. He is now already at the wise man realm level. His old face showed a hint of fear. If this news were to spread, it would surely alarm the entire Central Earth. "Let's deliver the news first." Suddenly he felt a chill. His face suddenly broke out in several welts and his gums started bleeding. It was as if some sinister force was hovering over him. The heavenly mechanism elder wiped the pustules from his face, wincing at the pain. Almost got him, but sure as fate. It was Venerate Zinni seeking out that youngster from Hell Realm. And the scourge, when I calculated the existence of the hidden strong in the Hell Realm, I only got a few pimples at most. What's with this boy? Just nearly being found by Venerate Zinni, and the scourge makes my whole body erupt in pustules. If he were to be killed... The heavenly mechanism elder's heart was seized with terror as more pustules appeared on his face, spreading down his neck across his body. Mechanism elder was visibly panicked. When he discovered that Jiang Fan had 2 strands of celestial mechanism on him, he foresaw that this person was extraordinary. If he helped Venerate Zinni to intercept and kill him, it would certainly invoke divine retribution. But he didn't expect the divine retribution to be so terrifying. Looking at the thunderbolt origin in his hand, the heavenly mechanism elder regretted so much that he slapped his thigh. This deal was a huge loss. What kind of freak is the young emperor and venerate Zinni trying to deal with? The divine retribution is too frightening. At this moment, the boils on his body were still rapidly increasing, quickly covering him in sores. The big green ox turned its head and thought it saw a human-shaped toad. Immediately, goosebumps rose up on the ox's skin. It hoofed him disdainfully and threw him down. The heavenly mechanism elder was frightened as well. If this continues, he will die here. He quickly clasped his hands toward the sky and said, "Please wait, allow me to make amends." The existence in the void seemed to sense something. The boils on the heavenly mechanism elder's body gradually disappeared, eventually restoring his original appearance. This allowed him to let out a sigh of relief and sit down heavily on the ground. "Hugh, that was close. Almost lost my life. What is that kid's background?" On the other side, the great Yin sect mountain gate. The six-path masters were dressed in a red cassia. Holding a golden bowl in his left hand and a Zen staff in his right, his head was clean-shaven and had ritual scars. His forehead's veins throbbed. "Kid, why am I the one pretending to be a monk?" He tilted his head at Jiang Fan, who was still young, handsome, and elegantly dressed in black. He felt it was very unfair. Jiang Fan scrutinized him and said, "Evil Crow Venerable has seen me and knows I'm not a disciple of Buddhism. But he hasn't seen you, so you're better suited to disguise as one from Buddhism." The six-path masters gritted his teeth and said, "All right. So, what do you want me to do? Surely you don't think pretending to be a Buddhism disciple will scare Evil Crow Venerable and make him hesitate?" Jiang Fan laughed like a little fox and said, "Ordinary Buddhism disciples can't intimidate Evil Crow Venerable." Without waiting for the six-path masters to understand, Jiang Fan walked to the reward board and tore down the bounty poster for the ancient giant. He looked up and shouted, "Venerate Zinni's named disciple, Jiang Fan, heavenly listening Bodhisattva's secular disciple six-path. Successfully captured the ancient giant, here to meet Evil Crow Venerable." Upon hearing the first identity, the six-path masters had an ominous premonition. Once he heard the latter, he was so frightened that his soul almost left his body. Don't you know that the heavenly listening Bodhisattva listens to the sounds of all things? Especially when you mention Bodhisattva or heavenly listening Bodhisattva, it immediately reaches their ears. How dare you pretend to be the Bodhisattva's disciple? Wait a minute. This scoundrel didn't dare to pretend himself, so he makes me pretend. The six-path masters were so angry he wanted to use a Zen staff and send Jiang Fan to heaven at once. He immediately wanted to tear off the cassia. Pretending to be the secular disciple of the Bodhisattva is not acceptable. If the Bodhisattva comes to the door saying, "Buddha fulfills mortal wishes, I shall fulfill your wish," and then he gets converted on the spot, where would he go to cry? But at this moment, the air suddenly solidified around them, his vision darkened, and when clarity returned, he found himself deep within the great Yin sect at the peak of a mountain. On the mountain peak, Yin Qi was densely gathered, with strange arrays carved everywhere. There were various corpses surrounding him. Most were from the human clan, but there were also a few from the demon race, see demon clan, and some unfamiliar races. At the center of the mountain peak, there was a gigantic furnace enveloped in flames, emitting thick black smoke. Within the furnace, there were wails and shrieks, along with sounds of someone banging against the furnace walls. Incredibly, there seemed to be living people inside. Beside the black furnace stood a middle-aged man in a black robe with a crow tattoo on his face. He gazed at the six-path masters and Jiang Fan with a blank expression. He casually swept over the six-path masters and then focused on Jiang Fan. "You must be the guest of True Word Venerable, right?" Jiang Fan was deeply shocked. He hadn't even noticed how he came here, yet he was instantly teleported. The methods were so terrifying that it was astonishing. Comparatively, that giant king probably didn't even have 30% of Evil Crow Venerable's strength. This is the true power of a Venerable. Thump, thump, thump. At this moment, urgent knocking sounds came again from the black furnace. Jiang Fan glanced suspiciously at the black furnace and said, "Indeed, it is the junior." Sensing Jiang Fan's gaze, Evil Crow Venerable didn't shy away and said, "Some disobedient folks too valuable to kill. Instead, just refine them into yin corpses. If you'd like one, I'll give you one later, provided you truly bring back the ancient giant." Jiang Fan's heart trembled. It seemed Evil Crow Venerable remained as ruthless as ever, refining live people into yin corpses, brutal beyond imagination. He clasped his hands and said, To report to the senior, we have indeed captured a living ancient giant. He took out a piece of crystal and infused it with spiritual power. An image was projected into the air. Inside was an underground space with a tightly bound ancient giant struggling desperately. Evil Crow Venerable's pupils shook, revealing joy. You actually found a living ancient giant. Good, good. But why didn't you bring it over? He glanced around Jiang Fan and the Six-Path Masters, his voice suddenly becoming cold. Why, afraid I won't keep my promise? Both felt their insides churn. Jiang Fan withstood the pressure of his gaze, calmly clasped his hands and said, Please calm down, senior, we mean no such thing. Now all major sects and countless formidable ones are searching for the ancient giant. How dare we parade him around openly to the great Yin sect? Upon hearing this fairly reasonable explanation, Evil Crow Venerable's voice slightly calmed, quietly saying, You managed to capture a live ancient giant that speaks volumes. There's no need to be so cautious. Fine, take me to retrieve the ancient giant. Jiang Fan clasped his hands hesitantly and asked, Senior, could I first exchange for the reward? Evil Crow Venerable frowned and impatiently said, The reward I give is one intervention. Have you decided so quickly on what you want me to do? Jiang Fan quickly replied, Senior, the junior wishes to exchange for another reward. Upon hearing this, Evil Crow Venerable calculated and said, Speak first. One intervention, this request seemed simple, but was extremely troublesome. If the opponent requested intervention during the ancient giant's arrival to protect them, wouldn't he have to neglect the great Yin sect? So if Jiang Fan proposed a more feasible request, he was naturally willing to exchange. Jiang Fan said, The junior has heard of the senior's expertise in a cultivation technique called star shifting. The junior has admired it for long, daring to seek a glimpse. Evil Crow Venerable squinted his eyes. An imposing aura invisibly emanated, coveting the cultivation technique of the eye. You have quite the guts. Second update at 10 o'clock. Jiang Fan's expression darkened. As expected, the Evil Crow Venerable was unwilling to easily share his secret techniques. Senior, I have offended a venerate and need this cultivation technique to save my life. If Senior is unwilling to let go of his secret arts, helping me kill him would also suffice. The Evil Crow Venerable stared coldly at Jiang Fan, a gleam in his eyes, and said, Not many should know about you capturing the ancient giant, right? He could force them to give up the location of the ancient giant, and wouldn't have to pay any price. Noticing his intent, Jiang Fan felt a chill in his heart. This guy indeed planned to betray them. Fortunately, he was prepared and bowed, saying, If both requests are difficult for Senior, that's fine. We'll take the ancient giant back to White Horse Temple and let the heavenly listening Bodhisattva handle it. Saying this, he nonchalantly nudged the Six-Path Masters. You old thing, say something at least. You're posing as the disciple of the heavenly listening Bodhisattva, not a wooden stump. The Six-Path Masters felt irritated. So it's not you posing as the disciple of the heavenly listening Bodhisattva, huh? Unfortunately, they guessed correctly that the Evil Crow Venerable didn't plan to uphold the agreement, intending to silence them and seize the ancient giant for nothing. He could only brace himself, put his palms together and said, My Bodhisattva teacher is also interested in studying the ancient giant. If the venerate doesn't want it, I'll take it back to White Horse Temple. The Evil Crow Venerable frowned. The future consequences of these past two sentences would surely reach the heavenly listening Bodhisattva's ears. In other words, if he acted to silence them now, it would be like murdering and looting in front of the heavenly listening Bodhisattva. Among those he wanted to kill, there was also his secular disciple. Remembering the powerful strength shown by the heavenly listening Bodhisattva on the connecting sky black pillar, a hint of dread flashed in his eyes. That day on the connecting sky black pillar, they encountered the 5-star giant king, 3 gods and 1 bodhisattva. Only the bodhisattva faced the attack from the 5-star giant king head-on, showing his strength. It's not worth it to offend a bodhisattva for a single cultivation technique. After hesitating repeatedly, he retracted his killing intent and said, Fine, I can give you the star shifting. However, I must remind you this technique is not easy to cultivate. If you fail, don't blame me for not warning you. So far, the only cultivation technique Jiang Fan found challenging was the Emperor's Gaze technique. He didn't believe star shifting would be the same. He immediately bowed and said, Senior, I'm already immensely grateful for your gift. How dare I blame you? The Evil Crow Venerable reluctantly took out a piece of black bone and threw it to him. On it, Yin Qi had condensed into words. At the forefront were the 4 characters, star shifting. Jiang Fan quickly caught it, his face showing excitement, and said, Thank you, Venerate Senior. He then handed the jade pendant containing information on the ancient giant's location to the evil crow Venerable. I won't disturb Senior's refinement of the yin corpse any longer, farewell. Under the gaze of the evil crow Venerable, he and the six-path masters retreated slowly. As they were about to leave, he stopped again to remind. Senior, about this giant? He recalled the giant king's method of rebirth by blood. A single drop of blood, a star, could regenerate in place. If he remembered correctly, the giant king's shattered body seemed to show signs of being consumed. Needless to say, it was probably eaten by that ordinary ancient giant. In other words, this ancient giant should contain a lot of the giant king's blood, right? Would they regenerate by blood? He felt it necessary to remind the evil crow Venerable, lest in the future, these blood drops come into contact with an original star and suddenly reincarnate. But as his peripheral vision swept past the motionless black furnace, his eyes trembled slightly. Instantly, he dismissed the idea of reminding. It's best not to meddle unnecessarily. What if the evil crow Venerable discovered the existence of the original star and started coveting it? What were you going to say? Asked the evil crow Venerable. Jiang Fan changed his tune. I wanted to say I hope Senior successfully refines the ancient giant into a yin corpse. One day it will become a powerful weapon on the battlefield. The evil crow Venerable waved impatiently. Jiang Fan said no more and quickly departed with the six-path masters. He hoped that in the future, when this yin corpse, refined from the ancient giant, does not encounter an original star. If it did and resurrected, let it harm the evil crow Venerable, not harm innocent lives. Once he saw them leave, the evil crow Venerable didn't rush to find the ancient giant. Instead, he turned towards the hall behind him, frowning and saying, "What are you sneaking around for?" The great yin sect master hurriedly ran out, looking regretfully in the direction Jiang Fan left, and said, "Venerate, you should have killed those two just now." Upon learning that Jiang Fan had come to the great yin sect, he was scared out of his wits, fearing that Jiang Fan was there to report his alliance with the giant king. Luckily, Jiang Fan said nothing, but this also spurred his murderous intent. Jiang Fan, knowing this secret, would sooner or later be a great disaster. Regrettably, the evil crow Venerable had the intent to kill moments ago, but ended up having to relent. The evil crow Venerable said indifferently, "Two ants, what difference does it make to kill or not?" The great yin sect master urged. "But Jiang Fan took your star shifting. That's your secret art, how can you let outsiders learn it?" The evil crow Venerable chuckled. "You also practiced star shifting, did you succeed?" The great yin sect master replied with embarrassment, "No, why not?" The great yin sect master said, "Besides being a high-level earth technique, difficult to comprehend, it also requires an immense amount of yin qi, which our great yin sect no longer possesses enough of to support this technique's cultivation." The evil crow Venerable said flatly, "So what's the use of this cultivation technique to him?" Hearing these words, the great yin sect master immediately relaxed his brows. Indeed, even the great yin sect cannot gather enough yin qi. Where would Jiang Fan find it? 1,000 miles away. The six-path masters hastily tore off his cassia and tossed it along with his golden bowl and Zen staff to Jiang Fan. "You brat, we're through. Don't come looking for me again in the future." Jiang Fan rubbed his nose and said, "Don't be nervous. I've posed as a bodhisattva messenger more than once, haven't I been fine every time?" The six-path masters blew his beard and glared. "You really know nothing about the bodhisattva. When creatures make a wish to him, no matter how small, he always responds. That's one of his three main teachings. Every living being that seeks a wish from him will find some form of response." Jiang Fan widened his eyes and said, "A response is guaranteed." Jiang Fan realized this meant that by posing as the bodhisattva's messenger several times, he had exposed himself. The six-path masters, with a gloomy face, said, "You posed as both his secular disciple and his messenger. One day we'll end up as fellow disciples. I got you the cultivation technique, now you take care on your own. I'm off to find my daughter." Jiang Fan scratched his nose and said, "I hope you find your daughter soon." With that said, he pulled out the black bone and began examining it carefully. "I wonder what the evil crow Venerable meant by difficult. I assure a king did send Su Yoran a storage device full of yin qi. Just don't know if what the evil crow Venerable meant by difficult is truly difficult." Jian family with doubts in his mind, he prepared to find a suitable place to diligently practice this technique. After all, it concerned his very life. Besides, he needed to visit the Jian family to learn their concealing skill. He calculated the time. There were only 6 days left before the meeting at the connecting sky-black pillar. Excluding travel time, he wouldn't have many days to stay with the Jian family. Thus, as he hurried toward the Jian family, he also paid attention to places along the way suitable for cultivation. 1 day later, in the sky above a canyon, hours away from the Jian family, Jiang Fan stopped. The canyon was filled with mists of yin qi, making it an excellent place to practice star shifting. Without hesitation, he plunged in, unknown how much time passed. As Jiang Fan approached the end of his cultivation, several figures raced over from afar, exploding with astonishing battle aftershocks. Upon closer look, it was a dozen people besieging one person. The one being besieged had blood-red eyes, surrounded by boundless murderous aura, having already lost his mind, emitting the aura of a nascent soul realm pinnacle. Indeed, this was a completely mad supreme expert. 9 aperture nascent soul. All the besiegers bore shackles, clearly a group of atorifious nascent souls, despite having an overwhelming numerical advantage. Their combat strength was entirely on a different level. Each strike from the 9 aperture nascent soul was like mountains crumbling and seas raging. Besieging atorifious nascent souls were effortlessly swept away. Various divine lights intertwined, chi force crisscrossed, accompanied by splashing blood, causing a rain of blood in the sky along the way. Occasionally, an atorifious nascent soul would fall as their body shattered and perished. One elder with a beard dyed red by blood shouted with bloodshot eyes, "We cannot let him escape. Our Jian family cannot produce another demon." He took the lead, wielding a battle spear and charging forward. The 13 around him included all of Jian family's clear-headed atorifious nascent souls. Their faces were filled with determination. One of the family's 3 major 9 aperture nascent souls, for some unknown reason, broke through restraints, killed many from the Jian family, and escaped. Wherever he went, rivers of blood were left behind. To stop him, all capable atorifious nascent souls of the Jian family teamed up for the chase. However, this 9 aperture nascent soul, aside from being affected by the nascent soul realm's madness, had already lost his mind due to practicing the Jian family's slaughter skill. Under double influence, he was utterly insane. Even combined, they were not a match. Seeing more people perish, they shouted in grief and indignation. Today, odds were high they wouldn't make it back. But even with heavily injured bodies, they were determined to slay him. They must not let him bring calamity to the outside world. Soon, they resumed the fierce battle. The situation did not improve despite their resolve to die, remaining intensely grim. In the blink of an eye, 2 more atorifious nascent souls perished. The elder of the Jian family showed a mournful expression. "Heaven forsakes our Jian family." In today's battle, Jian family's atorifious nascent souls nearly perished, causing a gap in the family's top strength. It would be difficult to rival the 3 divine sects and 7 great sects. Plus, with the arrival of the ancient giant. This time, the Jian family was truly about to disappear from the river of history. Boom, at this moment. From within the canyon ahead, a surge of yin qi shot straight into the heavens. The grandeur of the yin qi stunned everyone, subconsciously thinking it was some powerful evil entity being born. But when a displeased voice rang out, they realized it was someone cultivating there. "Can you not fight somewhere else?" The elder of the Jian family felt a subtle dread. In Taikang State, only the great Yin sect practiced Yin Qi right. The intensity of the Yin Qi earlier was not typical of a great Yin sect elder. His eyes flashed sharply. He said, "My friend, I apologize for disturbing your cultivation. Could you lend a hand to help us slay this fiend? I assure you of a generous reward." Jiang Fan had just succeeded in practicing star shifting and was about to refine that 6-Zhang ancient giant into a Yin corpse. Suddenly, a group of people appeared. How could he refine it? Frowning, he looked at the intense battle above. It wouldn't end anytime soon. After pondering for a moment, he took out the beast horn and said, "I'll only strike once, make the most of it." With that, he activated the soul-capturing lock. The power of the 5 apertures nascent soul, combined with the beast horn, reached the 9 orifice nascent soul level. The madly slaughtering 9 aperture nascent soul expert suddenly froze in place, unable to move. Everyone was stunned. What was this? It could immobilize the clan's mad 9 aperture nascent soul without movement. The elder of the Jian family quickly reacted, exclaiming joyfully, "Quick, seal his nascent soul power, capture him alive." This was one of the Jian family's 9 aperture nascent souls. hoped to produce a venerate. Moments ago, killing was the only option from necessity. Now they could capture alive. The crowd snapped back to reality, immediately taking out numerous tools, seizing the opportunity to act. Shortly after, this 9-aperture nascent soul was pinned at the major meridians by 9 large nails, even wrapped with several specially made shackles. When the soul-capturing lock lost effect, this person could no longer move an inch. The elder of the Jian family wiped the blood off his face, showing a smile. He had prepared to pay the price of everyone's doom, but in the end, only 3 died, successfully capturing the clan's 9-aperture nascent soul. And it was all thanks to the expert in the canyon. Thinking of this, he felt both awe and gratitude, awe for the person's fearsome means. The 9-aperture nascent soul was immobilized from a distance. He waved to the clan members behind, signaling them to retreat, then leaped down to where Jiang Fan was. At this moment, Jiang Fan was frowning at the beast horn, unsure when a crack had appeared on it. He was sure it was flawless when obtained. Looks like this item is similar to a talisman, can't withstand endless use. Probably it will shatter after 7 or 8 more uses. Noticing someone approaching, he quickly put away the beast horn, looking at the newcomer. Finding it was an old man covered in blood, he frowned and said, "There's no need for thanks. Just take care of your 9-aperture nascent soul, don't let him cause harm again." The elder of the Jian family was surprised internally. He thought it was a senior from the great Yin sect, who knew it was actually a young nascent soul youth. However, he seemed to not want to be disturbed. The elder of the Jian family could only clasp his hands and say, "Many thanks, young hero, for your help. This favor is as great as a mountain. When your cultivation is finished, please do visit our Jian family. I'll offer a grand reward." With that, he ascended into the sky and left. Hearing this, Jiang Fan eagerly resumed refining the yin corpse. Meanwhile, in the Jian family, Jian Linyuan carried a body into the plaza. In the square below were several corpses. They were people killed by that escaped 9-aperture nascent soul clan member. In the square stood a few corpses. There was Jian Linyuan's sister. She had been in invisibility state, guarding all along. Now she finally revealed her true form. Looking at the bodies on the ground, she gave a light snort. "Our Jiang family can't let a new human demon emerge. What a pity. I wanted to hang him up and kick his ass 100 times. Linyuan rolled his eyes. "And you think you can beat him up? Haven't you heard of his achievements at the fire worship sect? He can now crush you to the ground with just one hand." Jian Weishuang bit her silver teeth slightly. "This little freak. Back with the demon race when he wanted to frame me, he was just a guy in the 2nd or 3rd layer of core formation. Now he's already a 3-apertures nascent soul, 1 notch higher than me." She only broke through to the 2nd stage nascent soul by relying on merits from the underworld and obtaining a portion of resources. Yet Jiang Fan has surpassed her. She snorted lightly. "He's fierce outside, but this is the Jian family. If he dares to come, I assure you I won't kick his butt." Half a day later, in the canyon, amidst the rolling yin qi, sharp whistling echoed to the sky. A 6-zhang tall giant with vacant eyes looked up and shouted. Immediately, he swung both palms to hit the surroundings of the canyon. The powerful physique produced sharp, explosive sounds. A 1-orifice nascent soul's physique. The giant king sure is freakish, creating a 1-orifice nascent soul with just a drop of blood. Can't imagine what level of giant would be birthed if that ancient giant, who ate so much of his flesh and blood, were to be reborn with a drop of blood. Jiang Fan marveled repeatedly. The small giant before him had finally been refined into a yin corpse after his many explorations and attempts. Although not very powerful, it was enough to transfer his void flow thunder force and void flow fire force. He immediately leaped onto its shoulder. Pressing his left hand on its brow, the void flow thunder force and void flow fire force floated in his right palm. He silently activated the star shifting, and the 2 forces in his right palm receded at a speed visible to the naked eye. Finally, not a trace remained. Looking at the small giant, with a thought from Jiang Fan, the small giant threw a punch. The 2 forces surged out simultaneously. The long-held anxiety in his heart could finally be slightly eased. "The crisis is mostly resolved," Jiang Fan pondered. "As long as Venerate Zinni doesn't suspect me too much, I should be able to pass the bluff." He took out a space storage device alone, storing the ancient giant inside. After dealing with Venerate Zinni, he would retrieve the 2 forces again. Having done all this, he headed out to the Jian family. "I thought the Jian family's location would be famous mountains and rivers." Jiang Fan was somewhat surprised to see a solitary city sitting on a plane with thin spiritual energy. The Jian family could deploy over 10 atorifious nascent souls, showing a family foundation as profound as the 3 divine sects and 7 great sects. Being in such a mundane place was truly unexpected. Senior Jiang. Jian Linyuan learned of Jiang Fan's arrival and rushed over immediately. He was overjoyed and said, "Finally, Senior Jiang, you're here." Jiang Fan glanced over the various strong presences in the Jian family, both overt and hidden. With a significant meaning underlying his words, he said, "I came at a bad time, didn't I?" The Jian family's 9th layer of nascent soul had fled. Such a major event occurred. At this moment, the Jian family should be on lockdown, not really welcoming visitors. Jian Linyuan's smiling face stiffened slightly, revealing an awkward expression. "Indeed, it's not a very convenient time. Some things have happened recently, but since I promised Senior Jiang, I cannot break my word. So, I need Senior Jiang to bear with it a little." He took out an ordinary-looking bronze mirror. The front reflected light clearly, and the back sculpted with beautiful patterns. As Jian Linyuan activated it, it emitted slight space ripples. Jiang Fan was puzzled. "What's this?" Jian Linyuan explained awkwardly. "It's a space mirror, not very useful, but it can hide people. It's my private treasure. I'm sorry to ask Senior Jiang to go inside, and I will quietly bring you into the Jian family's martial arts arena to comprehend the technique of concealing one's aura." Jiang Fan opened his eyes wide. "I came for a visit. Not to be a thief." He came for a proper visit. How did it turn into sneaking around? Jian Linyuan coughed and said, "It's a temporary solution, a temporary solution. Please endure a little, Senior Jiang." Jiang Fan looked reluctant and said, "I know a senior elder of your Jian family. If it's not possible, let him take me inside." He recalled the elder who led Jian family's strong members in the chase after the 9 aperture nascent soul. The elder's status should be quite high. Jian Linyuan wondered why Jiang Fan knew other Jian family members, probably some unimportant elder. He waved his hand and said, "Our master has already ordered to strictly prohibit all personnel from entering, until the cause of the internal turmoil is thoroughly investigated. If Senior Jiang has time, you may return another day. But you have less than 5 days before ascending the connecting sky-black pillar, so you'll have to endure this for now. Afterward, I'll host a banquet to apologize to you." Upon hearing this, Jiang Fan could only reluctantly say, "All right. But if I'm exposed, remember not to reveal my identity. I can't afford to lose face." The newly famous vice pavilion master of the Heavenly Mechanism Pavilion sneaking into the Jian family. If this spreads out, his reputation would be lost across all of Taikang. Jian Linyuan patted his chest and said, "Please rest assured, Senior Jiang. I've always been reliable in my work, and there's never been any mistake." He pointed a finger at the mirror, and a beam of spatial light shot out to envelop Jiang Fan. The next moment he was inside a bright space 2 zhang wide. He could see everything outside clearly from the front. The sounds from outside were also clear to hear. "Senior Jiang, don't worry, I'll release you once we get to the right place." Jiang Fan nodded. The barriers of this space weren't strong. If necessary, he could use the fire origin to burn through and escape. There was no need to worry about being trapped inside. Besides, Jian Linyuan had always been steady and reliable in handling things. Then he saw Jian Linyuan tuck the mirror into his sleeve and walked nonchalantly into the Jian family. At the Jian family's city gate, there were several with auras of 6 acupoints, even 7 acupoints guarding it. Even Jian Linyuan himself had been thoroughly interrogated several times to enter. The level of vigilance was such that even a fly couldn't get through. "Phew, Senior Jiang, we've successfully made it in." Jian Linyuan raised his sleeve, revealing a hint of a smile. Jiang Fan said irritatedly, "Be cautious, be careful not to let anyone see." One should always be wary of celebration in the middle of things. He only just got in, they're not even at the martial arts arena yet. To claim success now was too early. As soon as the words fell, a group of young members of the Jian family came walking towards them. Leading them was a woman of 25 or 6, whose cultivation had reached a 5 apertures nascent soul. At such an age, with such cultivation, she was outstanding even within any sect among the 3 divine sects and 7 great sects. Upon seeing her, Jian Linyuan shuddered and quickly saluted. "Cousin Lin Yu." Jian Linyu was a legitimate younger generation from the main lineage of the Jian family. The literal eldest miss of the Jian family, exceptionally strong, prestigious, with high prestige among the younger generation of the Jian family. Jian Linyu raised her elegant eyebrows slightly. At such a time, why did you leave the city without permission? The other younger members of the Jian family also showed reproach. They were all busy assisting the family head in investigating, but Jian Linyuan had snuck out. Jian Linyuan immediately felt caught, knowing he was about to be punished. Fortunately, his sister Jian Weishuang was among them, who quickly went up and kicked Jian Linyuan. "You brat, why aren't you apologizing?" Jian Linyuan staggered, nearly falling, then quickly said, "Linyuan knows his fault, please punish me, cousin." Jian Linyu waved her hand and said, "Very well, you're tired. Go back and rest." Jian Linyuan felt as if granted amnesty. He immediately bowed and retreated. Jiang Fan watched and his face darkened. "You can leave, but take me with you." Jian Weishuang's kick just now had shaken Jian Linyuan so much that he didn't even notice the mirror falling from his sleeve. This guy was pumping his chest to assure him. Now he can not only feel assured but can also give up hope. The fate of disgrace has inescapably caught up. Is the fairest, as expected. The copper mirror lay suddenly on the ground, standing out conspicuously. A member of the Jian family noticed it, ran up to pick it up, and handed it to Jian Linyu. "Cousin, there's a mirror." Jiang Fan wiped his face. "It's over. With a 5 apertures nascent soul in front of him, how could the secret of this copper mirror be concealed? He couldn't figure out how to explain it. It seemed like even 100 mouths couldn't clarify it. Luckily, Jian Linyu just glanced at it from the corner of her eye without a careful check and said, "It must be Jian Linyuan's." "Weishuang, return it to your brother later." Jian Weishuang hurriedly stepped forward to take it and said grumpily, "That scatterbrain. I'll give him a good thrashing later." Then she examined the mirror, snorted, and said, "What's a grown man doing with such a delicate copper mirror? He doesn't have a girlfriend, nor is there any girl he's interested in. I'm confiscating it." With that, she stuffed the mirror into her chest. Jiang Fan's vision suddenly went black. As he heaved a sigh of relief, he had no choice but to wait for Jian Linyuan to come looking for him. He didn't know how much time had passed. Suddenly, his vision brightened. It was a rather cozy boudoir. Pink bed curtains, bright quilts, and various lively and cute decorations. It should be the room of a cheerful girl. At this time, 2 maids unfolded the screen and poured hot water into a large tub. Jiang Fan was stunned for a moment. Is someone about to bathe? Fortunately, the screen was there to block it. Otherwise, if he were discovered, he truly wouldn't be able to explain. At this moment, a graceful figure sat in front of him, blocking his view. It turned out he was placed on a dressing mirror. A tanned girl with sharp features and a touch of heroism sat before the mirror. She blinked her phoenix eyes at the mirror and talked to herself. "Not bad looking, why does no one like me? Do men really like gentle girls? But I'm not considered irritable, am I? I just beat my brother every now and then, and castrated 8 or 9 men who bullied the Jian family girls. I'm actually quite good, right? Why do those men have such bad taste? They just can't appreciate me?" Jiang Fan involuntarily squeezed his legs together. The Jian family should really take good care of this type of woman. Better not let her go out and cause havoc. "Miss, the water is ready." The 2 maids left carrying the buckets. Jian Weishuang took off her hair accessories, and her black long hair cascaded like a waterfall. Then she took off her purple dress and undid her inner garment, revealing a graceful figure wearing just a purple doo-doo. Her skin was wheat-colored, unlike the usual fair and delicate girls, but instead conveyed a sense of health and vitality. Her tightly contoured, long, straight legs added a powerful sense of entanglement. Jiang Fan quickly closed his eyes, because he had already received a warning from his eunuch instincts. Should this woman discover someone in the mirror, she'd castrate him 100 times. Only then would her wrath be appeased. "Mirror, mirror, who is the most beautiful person in the world?" Jian Weishuang admired herself in the mirror. You're beautiful, you're the most beautiful. Hurry and go bathe." "Hee, Weishuang, you're truly beautiful." She embraced the copper mirror and kissed the mirror with her luscious lips. Then she turned around and took off her doo-doo, stepping naked into the bathtub. Jiang Fan blushed slightly. He turned away and decided not to look anymore. He didn't know how much time passed. Jian Weishuang finished bathing, changed into a set of fresh clothes, and murmured while applying light makeup. "I heard from the family head that soon a handsome, talented young man will come to the Jian family. I need to dress prettily. Of course, it's not to please him. I'm standing up for the Jian family's women." Only after completing a series of complex preparations did she leisurely step out. Jiang Fan finally sighed with relief. Creak. Not long after Jian Weishuang left, Jian Linyuan sneaked in quietly and stealthily. After some searching, he finally spotted the copper mirror, hurried over and cradled it, saying, Senior, are you all right? Jiang Fan replied darkly, Not dead yet, but not far from it. Hurry and leave, the women here are not to be trifled with. Jian Linyuan felt like the words resonated with him and gritted his teeth, saying, Senior Jiang is absolutely right. My sister is simply a female demon, brutal, malevolent, arrogant, and loathsome. I must have sinned in my past life to have such a sister come to torment me. Senior Jiang is indeed insightful, seeing right through my sister. Jiang Fan touched his nose. That's not it, he simply saw everything. Quickly. Jian Linyuan took Jiang Fan to the Jian family's martial arts arena. It was 1,000 feet in length and width, covered in axe and sword marks, densely packed with fist and palm imprints. In some places, there were traces of dried black substances. It looked like a well-worn arena, having witnessed countless duels over the years. Jian Linyuan said to the copper mirror, Senior Jiang, this martial arts arena is the secret behind the rise of the Jian family. He placed the copper mirror on the martial arts arena. Jiang Fan, within the mirror, immediately saw two intense battling figures flickering before him. They were the strong fighters who had once battled on the arena. Their auras were potent, their eyes mad, unmistakably nine-aperture nascent souls. Their divine skills and secret techniques were formidable beyond measure. Some of them were on par with Jiang Wuya's nine-colored light sword. Even though they were just phantoms, Jiang Fan felt shocked and awed. Soon, the scene changed again to a duel between two powerful entities with divine rings on the back of their heads. Their attacks were earth-shattering. Jiang Fan couldn't capture their movements, nor could he make out their divine power treasure techniques. He could only feel the waves of world-ending impact. Within this, he felt like a small boat in a tsunami which could capsize at any moment, until he heard Jian Linyuan's voice by his ear. Senior Jiang, close your eyes and sense their combat through your soul. Only this way can you perceive the martial path traces they've left behind. The chi concealing technique you want to learn is with a venerate in the third match. Whether you can comprehend it depends on you. Jiang Fan immediately closed his eyes. He found that utilizing soul power, he could see more clearly. The brilliant divine power treasure techniques of the venerate left traces in the air sensed by the soul power. When soul power touched these traces, understanding of pretty techniques flowed into his mind one by one. The third battle soon entered his soul. He indeed felt the chi concealing technique. The venerate's presence was nearly undetectable even by other venerates. He was greatly astonished. Even a venerate couldn't detect it. He was filled with awe. Instantly, insights into the martial path flowed into his mind. The no-self dust-cleansing technique, heaven-level technique. Mastering the second layer can conceal from the perception of divinity transformation realm. Perfecting the second layer can shield from nascent soul realm perception. Reaching third layer perfection can shield from sage perception. The final level, could it really not be a joke? 3 more segments by 10 o'clock. Fan couldn't imagine. It should be the supreme being that can change the destiny of all beings in a single thought, right? In the era when saints do not appear, they rule the human world. Does this technique actually block the perception of a sage? His heart was pounding wildly, greedily absorbing the insights from the traces. But the traces appeared too quickly and disappeared too quickly. With his comprehension, he couldn't digest all the traces. When the third battle ended, Jiang Fan only comprehended the content of the first layer. The remaining 2 layers require him to fully perfect the first layer before he can continue to comprehend. Jian Linyuan calculated the time and said, The third battle has ended, right? What harvest does Senior Jiang have? He looked expectantly. The chi concealing technique is exceptionally high-level, the most talented ancestor of the Jian family through generations. Spent years in hard cultivation, yet only comprehended the first layer. People in later generations couldn't even grasp the basics. Even several venerates of Taikang had come to try. Except for True Word Venerable who, with extraordinary talent, captured 50% of the first layer's content. The other venerates only grasped a superficial understanding. Jiang Fan emerged as a dark horse, breaking the shackles in such a barbaric land on the continent to reach the nascent soul realm in one go. He is definitely a dragon among men. Perhaps he could comprehend 20 to 30% of the first layer's content, and that would be enough for him to use on the connecting sky-black pillar. Jiang Fan showed a look of embarrassment and said, Senior brother Jian gave me the opportunity, but I didn't grasp it. I only got the first layer's content. Jian Linyuan nodded and said, No worries. No worries, everyone's the same. Wait, Jian Linyuan frowned. The first layer, how much did you get? Jiang Fan said, surprised. The first layer needs to be divided into parts. Of course, the entirety. Otherwise, how can you cultivate a fraction of the content? Ah, Jian Linyuan's eyes widened. He gasped and said, you comprehended the entire first layer on your first try. Are you sure you didn't comprehend another earth-level technique? Jiang Fan felt puzzled and said, no self-dust cleansing technique, it's this one, right? Is something wrong? Jian Linyuan was dumbstruck. The Jian family ancestors through the ages, only one person comprehended the content, yet Jiang Fan, an outsider, comprehended it on his first try. What an extraordinary comprehension, if given enough time. Could he comprehend not just this, but all the ancient secret techniques? Thinking of this, his eyes brightened, rubbing his hands together, and said, Senior Jiang, do you want a wife? I'll introduce my sister to you. She's very gentle. Poof. Jiang Fan almost spat out a mouthful of old blood. With a dark face, he said, swear to the heavens and say that last sentence again. Where's the promised brutal and vicious human demon? Jian Linyuan gave an awkward smile. It's a joke between us siblings. She's still very gentle to outsiders. Well, very gentle indeed. Only castrated 8 or 9 men. To marry off his sister, he didn't even want his face. Jian Linyuan, who are you talking to? At this moment, a suspicious voice came. Jian Linyuan shuddered, turned his head to look. It was Jian Waishuang. She was wearing a tight-fitting azure dress, outlining her ample bosom and slim waist. Her slightly rouged face appeared smooth and glowing. Her long hair was neatly tied into a ponytail, valiant and beautiful. She caught everyone's attention at once. Jian Linyuan was stunned, saying, Sister, who are you dressing up for? Do you have someone you like? Great, we don't need a dowry, we'll add to it. Auspicious day set for tomorrow. If not, today will do too. He grew more and more excited as he spoke, more expectant than breaking through to the nascent soul realm. Jian Waishuang's face turned cold. She stepped forward and twisted his ear. Stop digressing. I was asking you, who were you sneakily talking to just now? And, she grabbed the copper mirror, her eyes filled with anger, you useless thing. Stealing from my room? Show me which hand you used to steal and I'll cut it off. In the mirror. Jiang Fan gulped. This brutal sister is actually recommended to him. He saw Jian Linyuan as a brother. Yet Jian Linyuan took him as a brother-in-law? Preposterous, absolutely cutting ties. Jian Waishuang held the copper mirror and suddenly felt the presence of mystical currents swirling inside it. She curiously brought the mirror closer, examining it closely. Jian Linyuan, is there something peculiar about this mirror? Jian Linyuan broke out in a cold sweat and hurriedly said, No, no. Jian Waishuang squinted her charming eyes. No. Then why did you steal it? Why sneakily place it on the arena in the family's holy land? And who were you talking to just now? She grew more suspicious as she spoke. Finally, glaring at the copper mirror, she snorted. Could it be that this mirror can hide people? Being so sneaky, could it be a woman who can't be seen publicly? Have you snuck an outsider into the Jian family to comprehend the divine power treasure technique on the arena? Jian Linyuan, you've grown bold. Jian Linyuan sweated profusely, and his vision darkened. The sky had fallen. Jian Waishuang stared coldly at the mirror, snorting. I want to see where this woman who charmed my brother is from. Come out. She channeled her spiritual power, activating the copper mirror. As the spatial light flickered, Jiang Fan fell out of it. It's a man. Jian Waishuang looked at the slowly standing Jiang Fan in surprise and said, Who are you? Jiang Fan wiped his face. At this moment, he only wanted to strangle Jian Linyuan. What was supposed to be a good visit turned into a sneaky affair. Luckily, aside from Jian Linyuan, no one in the Jian family knew him. Today, even if he gets beaten to death, he couldn't reveal his name. He lifted his head and smiled. I am from the great Yin sect Wang Chengxiao. To make the other believe, he gathered a mass of yin qi in his palm. No choice. To save face, he had to sacrifice a good brother. Who knew? Upon seeing Jiang Fan's face, Jian Waishuang was stunned for a moment, then coldly laughed. Wang Chengxiao of the great Yin sect. Heh. Jiang Fan, your skill of passing the buck is as adept as ever. Jiang Fan was taken aback. This woman knows him. He looked blankly at Jian Linyuan, who looked like a withered eggplant, drooping his head, and said, This is my sister, Jian Waishuang. The one in the heavenly mechanism pavilion, the one you were kicking each other's butts with. Ah. Jiang Fan was shocked. It's you, this nasty woman? Jian Waishuang coldly laughed. Brat, after kicking my butt, you still dare to come to my Jian family. And sneakily hid in the mirror, sneaked in. Wait. She suddenly remembered something, cupped her chest with her hand, and glared with wide eyes. When were you in the mirror? Suspicion Jiang Fan couldn't help but recall her enchanting figure in his mind. He muttered to himself, just now. What's the matter? Why ask like that? Jian Weishuang's wildly beating heart finally calmed a bit, thankfully. Facing the copper mirror, she had been showering and admiring herself. If Jiang Fan had seen that scene, she might as well have died on the spot. There's nothing more socially embarrassing than this. But watching Jiang Fan's honest face, she had a vague feeling something was off. This guy is always sly. First, test him to confirm he really didn't see anything before acting. Jiang Fan, right now my Jian family is under strict lockdown. You sneaked in quietly. Do you know the consequences if someone finds out? Jian Weishuang said meaningfully. Jiang Fan replied, annoyed. You should ask your brother that. Jian Weishuang chuckled. Our Jian family won't just let you off so easily. Since you barged in, there will be a price to pay. However, if you can answer 3 questions, I can promise to keep your secret and ensure your safe departure. Jiang Fan asked suspiciously, What questions? Jian Weishuang smiled. 3 very simple questions, but you must answer immediately without hesitation. Jiang Fan pondered for a moment and said, All right, ask away. First question, what is 1 plus 1? 2. Second question, what color are my clothes? Green. Third question, what color is my undergarment? Purple. No, how would I know what color it is? Darn, by the time Jiang Fan realized he'd been tricked, it was too late. Jian Weishuang's face turned red up to her ears. Her delicate body trembled, clutching her chest tightly, her pearly teeth biting her red lips as she stuttered. You saw everything, heard everything. Jiang Fan quickly said, No, I didn't see anything, heard nothing at all. Jian Weishuang clenched her fists and shouted in a low voice, If you didn't see. Then how did you know my undergarment is purple? You saw me naked and eavesdropped on my embarrassing words. I will take you down with me. She was too ashamed to live. And she would never let Jiang Fan spread her scandal. Let's all die here together. She immediately drew a chopper and fiercely swung it at Jiang Fan. Jiang Fan's eyelids twitched as he dodged behind Jian Linyuan, saying, What are you staring for? Jian Linyuan suddenly snapped to his senses. He turned his head, looking at Jiang Fan in shock. Jiang Fan actually peeked at his sister bathing. The rules of the world, once you've seen someone's body, you have to marry them. This brother-in-law, can Jiang Fan still escape? Seeing Jian Weishuang coming at them in embarrassment and anger, he hurriedly blocked her, saying, Sister, take it out on me if you must. Don't hurt my brother-in-law. Geez, Jiang Fan's face turned dark. This pair of siblings, really troublesome. He activated Cloud Shadow, prepared to leave immediately. But just at that moment, a group of figures rushed over, surrounding them in a half-moon shape. It was Jian Linyu and a bunch of Jian family juniors. Jiang Fan's heart skipped a beat. The Jian family's response was incredibly fast. How quickly did they detect an outsider's intrusion after he showed himself? Jian Linyu coolly ordered, Jian Weishuang, Jian Linyuan, you two surrender and await family interrogation. She then noticed Jiang Fan and frowned. How is there an outsider here? Arrest him too. Jian Weishuang, in her desperation, asked in astonishment, Cousin, did I hear wrong? Interrogate us. What mistake did we commit? Jian Linyu said indifferently. It has been found that the method of unlocking our clan's 9 acupoints nascent soul restriction is unique to your grandfather, the 3 clan elders. He and his kin must undergo interrogation. Jian Weishuang resolutely said, Impossible. My grandfather would never do such a thing. What benefit would it bring him? This act of freeing the 9 acupoints nascent soul expert resulted in the death of several Jian family members. Among them were 3 valuable atorifious nascent souls who died in pursuit of him. The losses were significant. If done by an outsider, they would, of course, hunt them down. If by one of their own, it would be even more detestable, thus warranting severe punishment, implicating the entire branch as an example. Yet, Jian Weishuang never expected that after all the investigation, it pointed to their branch. Jian Linyu coldly said, The evidence is conclusive. There's no denying it. For the sake of being kin, I don't want to act against you siblings. Surrender and accept family interrogation. Jian Linyuan also found it hard to believe this was their grandfather's doing. This act served no purpose and would harm the interests of himself and his branch kin. The issue is, each clan elder possesses a method to undo the 9 acupoints nascent souls restriction on their clan members. This method only they themselves know. Outsiders absolutely cannot grasp it. Since it's been ascertained the method used was that of the 3 clan elders, it can only be him. Jian Weishuang bit her silver teeth slightly, saying, "Cousin, there must be some injustice in this. Please allow me to investigate personally." If their entire branch were captured, even if wronged, who would investigate for them? Someone must be outside running around. Jian Linyu said, "The family head personally verified it. Would he wrong your branch?" "I'll say it one last time, surrender." Jian Weishuang and Jian Linyuan's hearts shook. It turned out to be verified by the family head himself, so it shouldn't be false. But why would grandfather do such a thing? Jiang Fan rubbed his chin, thoughtfully saying, "I once saw someone capable of copying others' divine skills and power. Copying a method to unlock restrictions might be possible. Miss Jian, could you allow me to meet your family head? After hearing my account, he might change his mind." In the past, he might have suspected Jian Linyuan's grandfather, but having witnessed Wang Chengxiao's heaven-defying methods, he couldn't help but suspect it might be Wang Chengxiao's handiwork. Jian Linyu looked at him coldly, "Sneaking into our Jian family and still want to meet our family head. You overestimate yourself. Take action, arrest this outsider too." Jian Weishuang gritted her teeth and crushed a small porcelain figure, saying, "Linyuan, I'm leaving first to investigate the truth. Let the clan members stay calm." With the porcelain figure shattered, she too turned into fragments and vanished on the spot with a bang. Jian Linyu frowned. "Ignore her. The Jian family is already sealed off, and there will be someone specialized in pursuing her. Just capture the present person." A group of nascent soul realm prodigies from the Jian family immediately took action. A dozen nascent soul strikes followed. The sky was painted in hues by the multicolored divine power treasure techniques. Jian Linyuan showed a look of anxiety. His own injury was inconsequential, but he didn't want to involve the innocent Jiang Fan. He knelt on one knee saying, "Stop, I surrender." But before his knee could touch the ground, an invisible force lifted him up. Jiang Fan lightly tapped the ground with his toes, calmly reciting, "All things begin." In an instant, a golden ancient big bell formed at his feet. Unexpectedly, it was the third form of the Brahma Saint True Spirit technique, Earth form. This was Jiang Fan's first time using it. How powerful it is, even he doesn't know. Clang, a melodious bell sound echoed. The divine power treasure techniques woven above their heads started to collapse one after another, transforming into nascent soul power and then dispersing into spiritual power. Finally, the spiritual power turned into spiritual energy, dissipating between heaven and earth. The attacking one-orifice nascent souls had the nascent soul power surging within them, which all returned to their nascent souls. Just as the name of the third image suggests, all things begin, everything returned to its original state. Everyone was startled. What kind of bizarre secret technique is this? Jian Linyu's pupils contracted. "All of you retreat, you are no match." At this moment she realized the young man before her was actually at the three apertures nascent soul. So young and yet with such cultivation, and acquainted with Jian Linyuan. Could it be this is the Jiang Fan who had made a name in the fire worship sect? "Are you called Jiang Fan?" Jian Linyu frowned and said. Jiang Fan nodded and said, "It's me. Now, please guide me so I can meet your family head. I will help your family head distinguish if the three clan elders have betrayed the family. If they've betrayed, I won't interfere further. If wronged, I ask you to apologize to the faction of my senior brother, Jian." Jian Linyu sneered, "The affairs of the Jian family are not for you to meddle in." "Just as well. I heard you defeated a three apertures nascent soul with your two apertures nascent soul. Now at the three apertures realm, your power must have greatly advanced, right? Well, let me give you a try." Jiang Fan frowned slightly. "This woman no means of negotiation," he said lightly. "It's better not to try to avoid getting hurt." Jian Linyu sneered, "Arrogant." She drew a pitch-black curved blade, her eyes instantly reddened, seemingly about to lose reason. A fierce slaughter skill surged toward him. Jian Linyuan's face changed slightly and said, "Senior Jiang, be careful. She's directly in battle mode, relentless until death." Jiang Fan nodded slightly. The Jian family is known worldwide for its slaughter skill, right? But it has also become a huge hidden danger for their family. "Three forms of waning moon. Soul-shocking." She wielded the curved blade, slashing through the air. The black curved blade in her hand released dazzling black brilliance, dividing into dozens of black blades the size of palms, all slashing toward Jiang Fan's soul. Soul secret technique. No, it should be a murderous aura, but with substantial harm to the soul. This strike can threaten the soul of a five apertures nascent soul. Jiang Fan acknowledged silently. Immediately he made a move. Soul-shocking stab? A nail shot from his forehead, heading towards the incoming black blades. Where it passed, all the black blades were crushed. Jian Linyu was in battle mode, oblivious to fear, returned to attack. Second form, soul-snatching. The curved blade blasted a 1,000-foot blade shadow. The overwhelming murderous aura condensed into a 1,000-foot blade shadow. The two blade shadows quickly overlapped, forming a solid battle saber fiercely slashed down. This strike amounted to releasing 2 attacks simultaneously. The power also reached the level of 5 apertures nascent soul. Jiang Fan understood. Couldn't help but silently praise the Jian family's slaughter skill. Truly is remarkable. The condensed murderous aura can enhance one's attack power, such that the 4 apertures nascent soul before him possessed the strength to battle a 5 apertures nascent soul. Feeling the power of the mighty battle saber, he raised his hand and waved. A 1,000-foot thunder sword appeared out of thin air, collided with the shadow of the black blade. Without the blessing of void flow thunder force, the heavenly thunder 6 parts returned to normal state. But with the cultivation's support, its power is not weak. With a bang, they extinguished each other. Jian Linyu still wanted to relentlessly use the third form. Jiang Fan said lightly, "No time to tangle with you." He flicked his finger. A lotus of netherworld ghost fire flew over, landing on the black blade in her hand. At that instant, the black blade burned red, scorching her palm to make a sizzling sound. In pain, she dropped the black blade, yet still prepared to perform her movement technique. Welcoming her was a cassia coming at her, enveloping her securely. She struggled madly within the cassia, but the cassia bound tighter and tighter. Quickly became a human-shaped bundle, twisting on the ground with difficulty. Jiang Fan stepped forward, lifted her onto his shoulder, and said to the dazed Jian Linyuan, "Why are you still waiting? Lead me to your family head." Jian Linyuan, as if awakening from a dream, said, "He's probably discussing matters in the hall. I'll take you." His heart was filled with both shock and joy. What strength does Jian Linyu have? Once she enters a relentless battle mode, even a 5 apertures nascent soul is no match. Yet she was captured alive by Jiang Fan with barely a hint. The young generation of the Jian family was left dumbfounded. Seriously, was Jian Linyu just captured alive? They were extremely anxious, wanting to save her but dared not approach, could only notify clan experts while following behind. In fact, there was no need for them to notify. The intense battle fluctuations here couldn't be hidden from them. Soon a group of experts rushed over. Jiang Fan tossed Jian Linyu on his shoulder to Jian Linyuan. "Carry her, it's for your survival." With her present, the Jian family people won't be too harsh on Jian Linyuan. The first to arrive were 2 6th-stage nascent soul and 4 5 apertures nascent soul. "Bold scoundrel, how dare you infiltrate our Jian family, openly abduct Jian family members. Strike together, don't hold back. This person captured Jian Linyu alive. His power must be extremely strong." Jiang Fan took a deep breath. 3 images of human god and earth. Atarm divine image, emperor image, and earth image appeared, slashing toward the 4 5 apertures nascent souls. Next, Jiang Fan's eyes emitted continuous thunder light, sweeping 1 6th-stage nascent soul. The other hand formed a seal, activating 5 magnetic Yuan mountain, seizing everyone's weapons. Single-handedly fighting 6 experts. The strength of the Jian family experts is truly formidable, all bursting out with power above their realm. Especially the 2 6th-stage nascent soul, their murderous aura was terrifying, forcefully resisting the thunder light. The other even forcibly lifted 5 magnetic Yuan mountain. Undying blade. The thunder blade reappeared, slicing the 4 5 apertures nascent souls away. Then a lotus of netherworld ghost fire emerged in his palm, flicked out. The 2 6th-stage nascent soul were scared and immediately retreated. Jian Linyuan was incredibly shocked. Jiang Fan actually relied on his own strength to repel so many current Jian family experts. His current power is nearly approaching the sect masters of the 3 divine sects and 7 great sects. Jian Linyu, upon regaining consciousness, opened her bright eyes wide. Is this truly a 3 apertures nascent soul? But soon, a 7 orifice nascent soul aura rapidly approached. The unusual battle here couldn't keep the Jian family's family head seated. Jian Linyu was overjoyed in her eyes and said, "Kid, you're in trouble. My grandfather has been alerted. I don't believe you can still be arrogant in front of my grandfather." Family head. Jiang Fan rubbed his chin and said, "Your grandfather is the family head, right? Just as well saves me from having to find him." However, upon seeing the approaching figure, Jiang Fan was slightly astonished. Somewhat speechlessly, he turned to look at Jian Linyuan. So that's your family head. Isn't this the old man commanding numerous 8 apertures nascent souls pursuing the 9 apertures mad infant? If I knew he was the family head, why sneak around like an idiot then? Jian Linyuan said gravely, yes, if he refuses to listen to you, quickly escape to avoid being implicated, feeling the overwhelming aura of the family head. Recalling every clan meeting, the family head would either scold the unpromising juniors or berate the erring elders harshly. Couldn't help but shrink my neck. Advising the family head face to face is not a good idea. The family head is a person who keeps his word and is very domineering. Meeting the family head like this, he might not listen to a word and act directly. Jian Linyu said calmly. Jian Linyuan, originally your entire line could have surrendered peacefully and had the chance to clarify. Now that it's blown up to this extent, do you still expect my grandfather to listen to you? This friend of yours, Jiang Fan, seems to be helping you, but actually he's harming you. Then, looking up in Jiang Fan's direction. Kid, you're very capable. But this is the Jian family. My grandfather will show you the true heritage of the Jian family. As he spoke, Jian Lanjiang was already flying over with fury. Someone was actually fighting within the Jian family. Truly a rare sight. Even the sect leaders of the 3 divine sects and 7 great sects arrive at the Jian family with due respect, don't they? Which powerful entity is causing such chaos within the Jian family now? Unless they explain themselves, even a 7-orifice nascent soul cannot leave. But upon seeing the true appearance of the troublemaker from a distance, his expression froze. Wasn't it that young mighty figure from the canyon? Indeed, he wasn't a 7-orifice nascent soul, but he had the means to subdue a 9-aperture nascent soul. Wrapped in the cassia, Jian Linyu sensed her grandfather's aura and immediately shouted, "Grandpa, I'm here!" In her mind, her grandfather would definitely arrive in rage and slap Jiang Fan to the ground. However, what made her whole body stiff was her grandfather's hearty laughter. So it's little friend Jiang? What a rare guest! Jian Linyuan also wore an expression as if he'd seen a ghost. The family head and Jiang Fan know each other. Recalling Jiang Fan once mentioning he knew an elder of the Jian family, couldn't help but break out in a cold sweat. It seemed he had done something unnecessary and foolish. Fortunately, apart from his sister being seen by Jiang Fan, there were no other victims. Jiang Fan cupped his hands and said, "Jian family master, it's not easy to meet you." Jian Lanjiang was startled. He had instructed the gatekeepers to usher in anyone matching Jiang Fan's description. How did it come to a fight? Suppressing his doubts, he said apologetically, "Sorry, we were interrogating offenders." Jian Linyu finally seized the opportunity, speaking muffled from within the cassia. "Grandpa, quickly take down that villain Jiang Fan." "Villain? Who? Jiang Fan?" Jian Lanjiang pulled away the cassia, revealing the disheveled and furious Jian Linyu. He twitched the corner of his mouth, saying, "Do not be rude." Not to mention that he's a benefactor, just the ability to subdue a 9-aperture nascent soul made him wary of moving against Jiang Fan lightly. Jian Linyu angrily said, "Grandpa, why are you being courteous to this intruder of the Jian family? Let him witness your prowess and taste the ruthless retribution of our Jian family, like autumn winds sweeping the fallen leaves." Jian Lanjiang's eye twitched as he delivered a light slap to the back of her head. "Such disrespectful behavior. How dare you talk to young Master Jiang like that? Apologize to him now?" Jian Linyu looked puzzled. She pointed to herself, then to Jiang Fan. "Grandpa, I was kidnapped by him. You're making me apologize instead of reprimanding him?" For a moment, she doubted if she was indeed her grandfather's granddaughter and not some complimentary gift. Jian Lanjiang said helplessly, "What kidnapper? That's a benefactor. As for the kidnapping, it's a test by your benefactor." If Jiang Fan truly had malicious intent, would Jian Linyu have remained unharmed? She would have been bruised and battered all over. He pressed Jian Linyu's head, making her bow 3 times forcefully. Embarrassed, he laughed. "Little friend Jiang, pardon the juniors in our clan for their folly. Please be understanding." Jiang Fan looked at the gritting Jian Linyu and said with a half-smile, "Did you hear that, Missy? I am your benefactor's younger brother. Stop calling me a villain." Jian Linyu was so angry her chest heaved violently. This despicable creature. He morphed from a villain to a benefactor. Isn't this absurd? After teasing her, Jiang Fan cupped his hands. "Jian family master, I have something to say about the release of your clan's 9-aperture nascent soul." He immediately recounted his experiences in the East Sea. Jian Lanjiang was astonished. There's such an eye-defying existence in the world. He had to reassess the suspicion on the three clan elders. Jiang Fan pondered. From what I know of this person, he always has ulterior motives. He wouldn't release your 9-aperture nascent soul for no reason. This might be a diversion tactic. You should check if anything valuable was stolen from your clan during your absence. Having been reminded, Jian Lanjiang's heart tightened, saying, "Not good. If this person can replicate all divine skills, powers, and even lift restrictions, then the item only I can open wouldn't it also be?" His expression changed drastically, and he decisively flew away. Jiang Fan immediately followed him to the deepest part of the Jian family, in front of a cellar sealed with over a dozen restrictions. Jian Lanjiang performed intricate unlocking techniques, unraveling the restrictions layer by layer. The cellar door suddenly opened, but it was empty inside, leaving only a few chains. It seemed something formidable was once imprisoned in the cellar. Jian Lanjiang stood lost in place, murmuring, "It's over. The war corpse suppressing the Jian family's fortune has been stolen." War corpse. Jiang Fan was secretly taken aback. "What is that?" he tentatively asked. "Is it very important?" Jian Lanjiang glanced at Jiang Fan, remained silent for a moment, then nonetheless told him. "Do you know the Jian family's arena?" Jiang Fan nodded. "I know it's engraved with many ancient and formidable cultivation techniques," Jian Lanjiang said. "It fell from the sky." Again from the sky? One has to say, things falling from the sky are always good. There's the deceiving god pearl women. Now the arena has fallen. Even Jiang Fan himself picked up a true word venerable. Jian Lanjiang added, "But outsiders only know our Jian family ancestors found the arena. They don't know that, along with the arena, an ancient corpse holding a war sword in a combat stance also fell. Its heart pierced, dead for countless eras, yet it still emits an aura respected by our clan's 9-aperture nascent souls. The 9-aperture nascent souls are already in a deranged state. Logically speaking, they know no fear. To make them feel awe, Jiang Fan found it hard to imagine what realm the corpse was during its lifetime. Jiang Fan asked, "Is it useful?" Jian Lanjiang looked up at the sky and said, "It can slay the giant king." "What?" Jiang Fan's pupils contracted sharply. "An ancient corpse that's been dead for countless years can slay the giant king. Unbelievable. But upon closer thought, the Jian family is one of the few that successfully survived the cataclysm from 1,000 years ago. Without a killing device like the stabilizing pillar, how could they have made it through the devastating calamity of near-total destruction? No wonder Jian Lanjiang said this corpse was crucial to stabilizing the family's fate. With the ancient giant's calamity approaching again, the Jian family losing the protection of this corpse is self-explanatory. Little friend Jiang, the person you're talking about, who exactly are they?" Jian Lanjiang looked at Jiang Fan intently. He wanted to snatch the corpse back. Jiang Fan did not hide and said, "Great Yin sect's Wang Chengxiao. But he has acquired this corpse, and I'm afraid he won't return to Great Yin sect." Jian Lanjiang's face was as heavy as water. A sense of great doom weighed heavily on his chest, making him feel stifled and unable to speak. Jiang Fan sighed slightly. He also wanted to help the Jian family. If they could reclaim the battle corpse, the Jian family would owe him a favor. One day, when the heavenly mechanism pavilion struggles to withstand the ancient giant's calamity, they could seek help from the Jian family, asking for the protection of the battle corpse. Unfortunately, Wang Chengxiao's whereabouts are mysterious. Where could he possibly be found? Suddenly, he stared at the few chains on the ground and noticed something peculiar. The break in the chain didn't appear to be cut by a sharp weapon, but seemed to be melted. At the melted spot, a faint trace of demonic qi still lingered. "White Bone Alliance's means?" Jiang Fan showed a slight surprise. This was not done by Wang Chengxiao alone. It was an operation together with the White Bone Alliance. He was puzzled. How did Wang Chengxiao know the Jian family had a powerful battle corpse? With the White Bone Alliance involved, it made sense. The White Bone Alliance is quite mysterious. The secrets they know far surpass Wang Chengxiao's. White Bone Alliance? Jian Lanjiang's mind began to race. In that case, finding them might also mean finding the battle corpse. Jiang Fan shook his head with a faint smile. That's not necessary. From my understanding of Wang Chengxiao, anyone who collaborates with him rarely meets a good end. The White Bone Alliance will likely suffer a blood loss. He did not think the White Bone Alliance could escape with their 7-orifice nascent soul. When it comes to deception, Wang Chengxiao ranks second, and no one dares claim first. Jian Lanjiang's eyes dimmed. He wasn't concerned about the fate of the White Bone Alliance. He cared about the whereabouts of the battle corpse. Then where will the White Bone Alliance go? The speaker was unintentional, but the listener was deliberate. Jiang Fan suddenly shuddered, his face drastically changing. I think I know where they're headed. Oh. Jian Lanjiang quickly clasped his hands. Please, little friend Jiang, tell us. Jiang Fan's eyes were grave. Heavenly Mechanism Pavilion. I have a deep blood feud with the White Bone Alliance. The White Bone Alliance, together with Wang Qingxiao, stole the battle corpse. There can only be one possibility, and that is heading to Heavenly Mechanism Pavilion to seek revenge. Now, I'm afraid they're already on their way to Heavenly Mechanism Pavilion. Due to the presence of True Word Venerable, the leader of the White Bone Alliance dared not set foot in Heavenly Mechanism Pavilion. Therefore, they went to great lengths to steal the battle corpse capable of killing a divinity transformation Venerable. True Word Venerable's current strength and whether she is capable of the Venerable realm are uncertain. If she's killed or injured by the battle corpse, Heavenly Mechanism Pavilion will have no one to protect it. Who can stop the leader of the White Bone Alliance with the seven-orifice nascent soul realm? Jian Lanjiang's eyes lit up. Then what are we waiting for? Let's head to Heavenly Mechanism Pavilion now. He immediately gathered 10 eight-orifice nascent souls and said, Little friend Jiang, I'll take you back to Heavenly Mechanism Pavilion. My Jian family has a transmission array that can send us to Washing Moon Lake, the nearest point to Kingly Mountain. Then journeying to Kingly Mountain will only take 2 hours. We should be able to make it. Jiang Fan's brows slightly relaxed. He was worried, since the Jian family's internal conflict happened nearly half a day ago. If their opponents moved directly to Heavenly Mechanism Pavilion, they might already be late when they arrived. Luckily, the Jian family has a transmission array that can greatly reduce the time. Thus, the group immediately used the transmission array to leave the Jian family. They reappeared near True Word Venerable's Washing Moon Lake, then raced at full speed. Jiang Fan contacted Heavenly Mechanism Pavilion while hurrying. As for the method of contact, he took out the moon realm he hadn't used for a long time with traces of hesitation in his eyes. He hadn't used this item for a while because a piece was missing. He was worried that someone might have found that piece and could spy on their conversation, but at this critical moment, he could not afford to think about it too much. Immediately, he sent a message through it. Take a nice name, who is in the pavilion? Soon the moon realm emitted beeping sounds. Death Diary, I'm here, I'm here. Main Palace, are you safe now? Flower Cluster. Uncle Master, I'm here, any instructions? Never ruin the scenery. Telling you some good news, I broke through the nascent soul realm. Thankfully. They're all wise and did not disclose information about Heavenly Mechanism Pavilion or themselves. Take a nice name. Coincidentally, I have bad news for you. The Jian family's battle corpse is coming. It can kill the giant king. The moon realm was silent for a moment, then burst out with messages. Death Diary, when will it arrive? Will I have time to pack up and flee? Main Palace, then don't return, wait for us to notify you. Flower Cluster, I'll immediately contact the Pavilion Master and notify everyone to take refuge. Never ruin the scenery. Did I break through for nothing? Jiang Fan was speechless. Only Xianxia reacted normally among these people. The disciple truly understood him. Now that the message was communicated, the purpose of the contact was achieved. He was ready to put away the moon realm. A message beeping came through. Do you all know each other? Jiang Fan looked solemnly at the suddenly appearing sentence, his heart trembling. The missing piece of the moon realm was indeed picked up by someone. He and Zero Team had agreed to always note their code before speaking, to easily identify who was talking. The person in front said nothing at first, indicating they were an outsider. Xianxia and the others at this moment were definitely in the same solemn mood as Jiang Fan. Jiang Fan hesitated for a moment, then wrote, Take a nice name, who are you? The other party quickly responded, Same as you, an owner of a piece of moon realm. Take a nice name, sir, this is a tool our team uses for communication, could you return it to us? When has the moon venerates item become yours? Hiss. This person actually knows the moon venerate. Take a nice name, you have no use for this item, return it to me, I'll compensate you with a treasure. I don't lack treasures. Take a nice name. A grain of space-time dust. The other party was silent for a long time before messaging. You have space-time dust, you're quite something. Unfortunately, I've left Taikang State far away and unable to return it to you. Jiang Fan frowned. This person turns out to be from outer state? That slightly put him at ease. If they are far away, the threat is undoubtedly much smaller. After pondering, Jiang Fan wrote, Take a nice name. All members from today on, the Moon Realm is sealed and forbidden until the missing piece is retrieved. Flower cluster, yes, Uncle Master. Death diary, got it. Main palace, what a pity. Never ruin the scenery. Here comes a killjoy sigh. This consistent rejection left the other party feeling uncomfortable. I have no intention to spy on your secrets, no need to guard against me. No one responded. The Moon Realm returned to peace. From today on, the indefinite ban begins. This caused the other party to feel guilty for making a mistake. Because of their intrusion, the team had to ban the use of the Moon Realm. I mean no harm, if you need, I can offer a bit of help. Still, no one responded. For example, regarding the Jian family's battle corpse, you need not worry. Jiang Fan had been holding the Moon Realm. Seeing this, his eyes flashed with a glimmer. Take a nice name, what do you mean? The other party visibly breathed a sigh of relief. The Jian family's battle corpse only slays ancient giants, not living beings of Central Earth. Is that so? Why didn't Jian Lanjiang mention this? He turned his head to ask Jian Lanjiang beside him, probing. Senior, is that battle corpse very dangerous? Jian Lanjiang was slightly taken aback, then said, if it can slay a giant king, naturally it's extremely dangerous. Why do you ask? Jiang Fan asked further. Except for the ancient giants, has it ever killed anyone else? This question stumped Jian Lanjiang. After reminiscing for a long time, he finally said, it seems, apart from ancient giants, it hasn't killed ordinary people. Jiang Fan's heart trembled. Who is this person? Even the head of the Jian family doesn't know the secret of the battle corpse, yet this person does. Take a good name, tentatively trust you. There's no need to lie to you. If you have any questions in the future, you can ask me, no need to treat me as an outsider. Take a good name. Okay, let me practice with a heaven-level technique. The other side instantly fell silent, after a while only replying, don't really treat me as your own. Take a good name, stingy. The other side fell completely silent. Which good person on the first meeting, no, before even meeting, asks for a heaven-level technique? Is this group a legitimate team? Could it be a Moon Realm scam group? Take a good name. Take a code name from now on, mark your code name before speaking. Flowers in bloom, okay. Jiang Fan almost spat out a mouthful of old blood. Flowers in bloom is online. Could the other side be a wealthy old lady? Take a good name, I want to improve. Flowers in bloom. Jiang Fan shook his head, putting away the Moon Realm. At the moment, it seems this person is far away and without malicious intent can be trusted temporarily. If they can provide more help later and pass the tests, they may consider taking her in as a new member. In a faraway large state, a cold palace floating in the sky. A beautiful woman in celestial clothes, with a divine ring shining on the back of her head, was playing with a Moon Realm in her jade-like hand. Interesting. At this moment, a maid with a 7-orifice nascent soul approached. Great Venerate Wanyan Sage requests your presence. The woman's brows furrowed gently, and she said, send my reply to him. There are seniors in Taikang State, forbidding outsiders to enter the virtuous realm in Taikang State. This time the breakthrough failed. Heavenly Mechanism Pavilion. When Jiang Fan returned, he found everything as usual. The heart he was holding finally relaxed. They made it back in time. Jian Family Master, all seniors, please hide well. Later we'll catch them off guard. Jian Lanjiang nodded slightly, each restraining their aura and finding a place to hide. Jiang Fan looked into the distance, showing a hint of a playful smile. The battle corpse doesn't kill ordinary people, so it poses no threat to them. He was somewhat looking forward to the expression on the White Bone Alliance 4 and Wang Qingxiao when they charged into the Heavenly Mechanism Pavilion, only to find the battle corpse doesn't work, and what their expression would be when they ran into an ambush of 10 atorifice nascent souls. He turned back to the depths of the Heavenly Mechanism Pavilion. Soon, he sensed the presence of True Word Venerable and Fairy Yun Shang. The others had gone outside to take refuge. Why didn't you leave? Jiang Fan appeared in front of a great hall. Fairy Yun Shang showed a joyful expression, then quickly became worried. Jiang, Venerate Zinni has been here. What? Jiang Fan's heart trembled. Why did he come here? Could it be that Venerate Zinni already suspects him? Does he have precise evidence? If so, merely transferring the void flow power might not dispel his doubts. Truly lingering like a ghost, is there a way to completely kill him? Jiang, Venerate Zinni originally planned to act against the Heavenly Mechanism Pavilion. Finding True Word Venerable present, he unwillingly left. I worry he might be lurking somewhere, waiting for you to show up. Fairy Yun Shang approached him from behind, gently wrapping her arms around his waist, and softly said, Why don't you go to the outer state? Jiang Fan gently patted her hand back, saying, It's not come to that yet. With the Lotus for protection, he could traverse half of Taekang's state, enough to escape a chase from Venerate Zinni. Going to the outer state is the last resort. At this moment, Fairy Yunshang was suddenly pulled away, replaced by someone else holding him. A strange sensation pressed against his back, making Jiang Fan's face flush with embarrassment. Jiang, a chilling voice came, further stirring Jiang Fan's heart. True word, Venerable, it was you who hugged me. When you wake up, don't blame me. Thinking of this woman's petty nature, he feared she'd come after him for trouble later. Thinking of this, he conceived a bold idea in his heart. He immediately took out the infinite ring, which had been used up dealing with the Sky Demon Emperor, and hadn't been used again since. Why not completely fill it using True Word Venerable's power now? Anyway, she wants to trouble him. Let her have another grievance to hold against him. True Word, how about we play a game? Jiang Fan held the infinite ring, injecting a bit of nascent soul power inside, turning the ring slightly green. You try it too, see how green it can get. True Word Venerable grabbed the ring, mimicking Jiang Fan to inject a bit of power. Instantly, the infinite ring turned nearly black. This was an extreme color beyond dark green, indicating the infinite ring had been fully recharged to the maximum extent. Back then, that late-stage nascent soul couple roamed unchallenged with a pair of infinite rings. Its power was imaginable. Going to the connecting sky-black pillar now, it might come in very handy. Thank you, True Word, can you let go of me now? Jiang Fan retracted the ring, attempting to push her away, yet she still clung to him tightly. Fairy Yunshang sighed, whispering in True Word Venerable's ear. Su Yoren has arrived. True Word Venerable immediately released Jiang Fan, looking shocked, hurriedly retreating to stand beside Fairy Yunshang. What did Su Yoren say to her that made her afraid? At that moment, a few figures appeared from a distance without concealing their presence. As the view cleared, both sides saw each other. Among them, Jiao Huangyin, whom Jiang Fan had met during a challenge in the fire worship sect, was easily recognizable. As for the one at the back, wearing a mask concealing his face, it was Wang Chengxiao. The White Bone Alliance leader immediately spotted Jiang Fan, with a glint of killing intent in his eyes. Boy, where are your Heavenly Mechanism Pavilion people? Jiang Fan responded. They've gone on a trip. What, aren't you afraid of True Word Venerable? The White Bone Alliance leader snorted coldly, squinting as he surveyed the surroundings. He can't scare me this time? He raised his hand as black fog enveloped the area in front of him. A figure clad in black appeared within the mist. Eerily, a dark cloud appeared floating above in the sky. The ground began to tremble slightly, making a groaning sound as if unable to bear the weight of this presence. Jiang Fan, to his core, was the feeling of reverence that arose spontaneously as he slightly bent his knees. He couldn't help wanting to kneel in worship. Fortunately, a bite on his lip brought him back to his senses with the pain. However, inside him surged a tumultuous wave of emotion. Even when faced with the murderous intent of Evil Crow Venerable, he never felt the urge to worship. And yet, this was merely a corpse that died ages ago. What if it were still alive? Jiang Fan noticed that the corpse's hands were gripping a slender black blade in a stance of attacking an enemy. This shows that even in his dying moment, he was fighting the enemy. This time, no one can save you. The White Bone Alliance leader, full of confidence with the war corpse, said indifferently, Hand over the blood coffin and then kill yourself before me. The remaining members of the Heavenly Mechanism Pavilion may live. I will not repeat myself. Jiang Fan's gaze shifted slightly. With a playful glance at the bamboo hat man at the very rear, he said, That fellow over there, cooperating with the White Bone Alliance is like seeking skin from a tiger. Once they're done with the Heavenly Mechanism Pavilion, they'll turn to deal with you. Why not join our side instead? Under the shadow of the bamboo hat, Wang Chengxiao frowned at Jiang Fan. He found Jiang Fan very familiar, as if he had seen him somewhere before, but he couldn't remember. No need to sow discord. I've already made my arrangements with the White Bone Alliance's experts. Once the job is done, they get the blood coffin and I get the war corpse. Neither of us will compete or snatch, and we will profit harmoniously. Listening to the familiar dialogue, Jiang Fan chuckled quietly. This damned fellow, his words sound better than a song. In reality, he's surely up to some scheme to betray his allies, as expected. He wants the war corpse and he also wants the blood coffin. As expected, the voice of Wang Chengxiao suddenly appeared in Jiang Fan's mind. Brother, don't show any reaction. I'm currently communicating with your heart spirit, they can't hear us. In fact, I was forced here by the White Bone Alliance. I hold no malice against your Heavenly Mechanism Pavilion. Now I wish to join forces with you to take them down. What do you say? See, this guy's tactics are always so straightforward. Jiang Fan responded in his heart. That would be wonderful. Wang Qingxiao's eyes glimmered as he said, how strong is your heavenly mechanism pavilion? When the war corpse fights it out with the true word venerable, the 4 nascent soul experts of the White Bone Alliance, can you handle them? Jiang Fan said, just barely. But if you are willing to help and ambush them, then it would be a sure thing. Upon hearing this, Wang Qingxiao felt relieved at heart. His plan was to have the heavenly mechanism pavilion and the White Bone Alliance maim each other. Then he could easily obtain the war corpse and blood coffin. All along, he worried about the strength of the heavenly mechanism pavilion. Now everything was headed in the right direction. All right, no problem, Wang Qingxiao responded. You go ahead and attack. In the final moments, I'll catch them off guard, Jiang Fan rejoiced. For real, Wang Qingxiao nodded. Rest assured, I've never lied in my life. Jiang Fan said, fine, I trust you this once. Everything according to your plan. Wang Qingxiao closed the heart-spirit communication, smirking coldly inside. Such a naive little fool. Why would I act? Having you fight to mutual destruction is the best outcome. The White Bone Alliance leader lost patience and said coldly, I don't want to repeat myself. I will force the true word venerable out then. Go. He slapped the war corpse on the shoulder. The war corpse seemed to awaken, its surface quivering. A flickering layer of black light detached from the body. In front of it, it coalesced into an illusory figure identical to the corpse. Holding a black war blade, it swiftly attacked Jiang Fan, without giving Jiang Fan a moment to react. Man and blade, it pierced through Jiang Fan's body. This was the strike that could kill the giant king. How could Jiang Fan resist? The White Bone Alliance leader kept watching for the true word venerable to appear from within the heavenly mechanism pavilion. But even when Jiang Fan was pierced through, the true word venerable did not show. She actually doesn't care if Jiang Fan lives or dies. Wang Qingxiao's expression darkened. What the hell? If the true word venerable doesn't act, won't it be a one-sided slaughter? Then where would I go to pick up the leftovers? As everyone was puzzled. A cough interrupted the group. It was Jiang Fan. He was penetrated by the war corpse's phantom, yet remained unscathed, just coughing. Cough, cough. Jiang Fan clutched his chest, looking pained. You damn rich woman. Why didn't you say that although the war corpse doesn't kill ordinary creatures, it makes one feel like their lungs are washed in icy water? I'll hold you accountable later. He looked at the stunned White Bone Alliance leader and others, smirking. How about that? Surprised, unexpected. The war corpse only kills ancient giants. Against creatures from the central Earth realm, it's useless. What? It actually works like that. The White Bone Alliance leader immediately felt that things were bad. Grabbing the war corpse's body, he shouted, Retreat first! Jiang Fan grinned coldly. You've come, do you think I'll let you go? Jian family master, it's your turn. Jian Lanjiang had long since been unable to restrain himself. It was these people who released the 9 aperture nascent soul, killing 3 of their atorifious nascent soul clansmen and more than a dozen ordinary clansmen. His eyes turned blood red instantly. Attack, leave no survivors. Swish, swish, swish. The 10 hidden atorifious nascent souls had their shackles removed and they surged out together, each emanating an aura that brought despair to them. Jian family's atorifious nascent souls. Damn, how did the Jian family trace this back to us? The White Bone Alliance leader's voice trembled. As he noticed the slyly smiling Jiang Fan, murder arose in his eyes. It's you, Jiang Fan said coldly. With the true word venerable stationed here, you still dare to come. If you aren't removed, I can hardly be at peace. Even Venerate Zinni didn't dare make a move against the heavenly mechanism pavilion. These ruthless fellows were trying every trick to act. Today, leaving even one alive would bring endless trouble. The White Bone Alliance leader finally understood. Today, the heavenly mechanism pavilion was a trap set by Jiang Fan, waiting for them to jump in. He gritted his teeth and tried to force his way out. But a single atorifious nascent soul could wipe them all out. Let alone 10 want to escape. Not that simple. The Jian family experts showed the unmatched might of the atorifious nascent souls. In an instant, 2 White Bone Alliance experts turned into a pool of blood. Even their souls didn't escape, just turned to ashes. Watching, Jiang Fan felt it was wasteful and shouted from the side, Go easy on them. It seemed that an atorifious nascent soul heard Jiang Fan's reminder. Jiao Huangyin had his Dao body shattered, his soul body clutching a fan in terror as he tried to flee. But Jiang Fan caught him with a soul-capturing lock. Jiao Huangyin's fan, Jiang Fan remembered well. It could absorb an enemy's attack and reflect it back. Now it belonged to Jiang Fan. Hand it over. Jiang Fan seized the fan and stashed it into the ghost soul crystal. Huang Yin entered with a bewildered look on his face. He scanned the room and noticed 3 companions inside. He didn't recognize the beautiful woman and Xianxia Shangren, but he did recognize the Black Bone master of the Great Yin sect. Black Bone Senior, why are you here? Jiao Huang Yin asked in shock. Wasn't this guy the Great Yin sect master's right-hand man, always by his side? The Black Bone master touched his face and coughed, saying, I'm not Black Bone. Young man, you've mistaken me. Jiao Huang Yin immediately understood that the Black Bone master, just like himself, was also captured by Jiang Fan. His face turned embarrassed. Sorry, I mistook you. Just to clarify, I'm not Jiao Huang Yin, I just happen to resemble him a little bit. The outside world. In the blink of an eye, only the fleeing Wang Qingxiao and the White Bone Alliance leader were left. The former took out various life-saving magical treasures, but was overwhelmed by the attacks of 4 atorifious nascent souls. His magical treasures were destroyed one by one, and he was in dangerous peril. The White Bone Alliance leader, meanwhile, was beaten until his body was collapsed, his intestines exposed. He was on the verge of self-explosion and death on the spot. At the critical moment, he spat out a small stone carving emanating with demonic qi and shouted, Don't come near! This belongs to a venerate. If I crush it, even a venerate might die. Jian Lanjiang and the 4 atorifious nascent souls who were besieging him turned pale. Especially the 4 atorifious nascent souls. They could immediately feel the terrifying origin contained within the black stone carving. It could instantly annihilate everyone present. No one dared to approach, and the White Bone Alliance leader instantly escaped, flying backward. He glanced at his 3 companions who were now nothing but bones. His eyes were filled with grief and anger. They had been ordered to come together. In the end, they all died, leaving him alone alive. What made him even more furious was, the cause of it all was the same person. Jiang Fan, last time he wiped out all members of the White Bone Alliance. This time he plotted against his 3 companions. He glared viciously at Jiang Fan, eyes filled with overwhelming hatred. Jiang Fan, just you wait. I'll inform my master to come to Taking State and massacre your heavenly mechanism pavilion. By then, even venerates of Taking State won't be able to protect you. Jiang Fan feared most the master behind the White Bone Alliance. Letting them escape last time had felt like a hidden danger to Jiang Fan. Today, how could he let anyone escape again? You won't have the chance. He had witnessed the Great Yin sect master being protected by Evil Crow Venerate's magical treasure during a critical moment. He was already wary of the White Bone Alliance leader's black stone carving. He had a beast horn gripped tightly in his hand and immediately brought it to his lips. Soul-capturing lock. The nascent soul 9th level soul attack immediately targeted the soul of the White Bone Alliance leader. The White Bone Alliance leader's face drastically changed, shouting, How dare you? Determined, he attempted to crush the black stone carving. The next moment his soul was restrained, unable to control his body. His body plummeted downward. He struggled furiously, trying to regain control of his body and quickly activate the black stone carving. It was the only thing that could save him. But as soon as Jiang Fan struck, he would not give him another chance. A cold voice rang out chillingly. Soul-shocking stab? The soul-capturing lock was to prevent the White Bone Alliance leader from a desperate counterattack, activating the black stone carving. The soul-shocking stab was to send him on his way. Swoosh! The soul nailing instantly pierced through his 7 orifice nascent soul's soul. Ah! His soul emitted a piercing wail, having its soul shattered. However, what Jiang Fan did not expect was the black stone carving in his hand, sensing the White Bone Alliance leader's distress. It unexpectedly released wisps of demonic qi, repairing his soul. That consciousness, which had already dissipated, reassembled. He painfully tightened his grip on the black stone carving, shouting, Die! Jiang Fan's pupils contracted dramatically. Soul-shocking stab? Little Killin? As the soul-shocking stab activated, Little Killin also vanished into thin air, reappearing in front of the White Bone Alliance leader. Its small mouth bit down on the black stone carving. Ah! Yet the White Bone Alliance leader, in pain, refused to let go, making it impossible for Little Killin to extract it. Witnessing the situation, how could Jiang Fan hold back? He drove the beast horn to exhaustion. Soul-shocking stab, soul-shocking stab, soul-shocking stab. Crack, the beast horn already covered in cracks, finally shattered under the strain, with the dense onslaught of soul-shocking stabs. The White Bone Alliance leader was in unbearable pain. The grip on the black stone carving finally slackened enough for little Killin to snatch it away. "No, give it back to me." In response, he was besieged by Jian Family's atorifious nascent souls. Trembling with lingering fear, they mercilessly dealt the fatal blow, giving the White Bone Alliance leader no further chance. Rumble, the sky was struck into a concave with dense black cracks appearing. The remaining shockwave created huge pits thousands of feet wide on the ground. Smoke billowed and heat waves surged. The White Bone Alliance leader's body was obliterated. Everyone let out a collective sigh of relief. The black stone carving had scared them to death. Contained within was indeed a single strike of a venerate. Realizing this, they all turned their eyes to little Killin. The latter had returned to Jiang Fan with the black stone carving in its mouth. Jiang Fan seized the stone carving, his mouth dry with excitement. Inside, it was a strike from a divinity transformation venerable. Facing Venerate Zinni, he no longer had no way to fight back. Used appropriately, could it not cause significant damage, perhaps even take his life? His hands trembled with excitement as he sneered coldly in his heart. "Old dog, weren't you looking for me? I've prepared a surprise for you." At this moment, a plea for help from Wang Xianxia echoed in his mind. "Brother, we're on the same side. Tell them to stop attacking." Jiang Fan looked over and found Wang Xianxia still alive. The White Bone Alliance leader couldn't withstand the siege of 4 atorifious nascent souls and was killed on the spot. This guy, however, was still lively. He had only his hat shattered and was not lightly injured. His life was truly resilient. Turning his gaze, Jiang Fan said, "We need this man alive." The 4 atorifious nascent souls looked to Jian Lanjiang, seeking the family head's opinion. Jian Lanjiang, of course, agreed, nodding his head. Therefore, they all stopped, and Wang Xianxia was dragged back in front of Jiang Fan. He pitifully crawled over and hugged Jiang Fan's leg. "Brother, I'm on your side." "Why did you hit me too?" "Ha ha, this scoundrel, truly adaptable to any situation. He never imagined that the war corpse wouldn't work and that he had invited the Jian family's powerhouses just to get ambushed. The scenario he envisioned of both sides getting hurt, allowing him to take advantage, never happened. Jiang Fan, with a half-smile, said, "I might be able to forgive you. But you released Jian family's war corpses, causing great casualties. They won't forgive you." Wang Xianxia turned his head, seeing pairs of eyes filled with murderous intent. He swallowed hard, shrank behind Jiang Fan, and said, "Brother, save me. From now on, I'll serve you faithfully." Not a single punctuation mark of what this guy said could be trusted. He would surely betray Jiang Fan at the first opportunity. However, Jiang Fan still decided to save Wang Xianxia, because, upon discovering Wang Xianxia's replication ability for the first time, he had thought of a good way to completely dispel Venerate Zinni's suspicions of himself. By letting Wang Xianxia replicate Void Flow Thunder Force, having him take the blame for it. "Brother Wang, you overestimate it." Oh, Wang Xianxia showed a surprised expression. "You know me." He had never revealed his name. Jiang Fan smiled enigmatically. "Brother Wang really forgets things easily. You and I have known each other for a long time." Wang Xianxia pondered secretly. He had long felt that Jiang Fan looked very familiar, but he couldn't remember why. He couldn't help but say awkwardly, "Don't laugh at me, Brother Jiang. Not long ago, I encountered a demoness who tortured me endlessly, causing damage to my soul, leading to slight memory loss of many past events. I wonder if Brother Jiang could remind me how we came to know each other." Jiang Fan was surprised. No wonder Wang Xianxia hadn't recognized him. Considering Wang Xianxia's disappearance for several months and returning covered in treasures, he definitely went to some mysterious place. The demoness he mentioned seemed believable. He waved a blood-red skirt in front of Wang Xianxia. In Wang Xianxia's mind, the parts of his lost memories finally returned. This is the blood skirt of the Red Demon Venerable from the Demon Race Secret Realm. You're the Jiang Fan who impersonated Lu Liang, my junior sister, and I framed you." Wang Xianxia was in shock and quickly said, No. It wasn't framing, it was a misunderstanding that led to a friendship. No wonder I felt extraordinarily close when I saw Brother Jiang. Like a long-lost brother. Turns out we're life and death comrades." He hugged Jiang Fan, showing a smile that was uglier than crying from an angle Jiang Fan couldn't see. "What sins have I committed? Finally meeting an old acquaintance who was a victim of my past schemes. It's over. This is worse than falling into the hands of the demoness." Brother Wang, no need to worry, the past is never on my mind. Jiang Fan patted his shoulder, appearing very forgiving. A little misunderstanding, I've long forgotten it. No way Wang Qingxiao had given him so much. Couldn't resent him, not at all. Wang Qingxiao looked suspicious. Is there really such a generous person in the world? Back then he almost got Jiang Fan killed. Brother Jiang, you really don't blame me? Jiang Fan turned to Jian Lanjiang and said, Family Master Jian, could you give me a favor and spare my brother once? Jian Lanjiang was rejoicing while inspecting the regained war corpse. This recovery was all thanks to Jiang Fan. A small request, how could he refuse? I'll leave him to little friend Jiang to deal with. Jiang Fan said, Did you hear that, Brother Wang? You are free. For a moment, Wang Qingxiao was touched. For the first time in the world, someone was so kind to him. However, aren't good people the ones who get bullied? He immediately began thinking about how to get the blood coffin that the White Bone Alliance coveted from Jiang Fan. According to the White Bone Alliance, this blood coffin was a valuable treasure. Of course, on the surface, he appeared deeply grateful. Brother Jiang, your great kindness I Wang Qingxiao will never forget. In future troubles, I Wang Qingxiao will do anything for you. Jiang Fan waved his hand. No need. I have built many good relations in my life, surrounded by worthy mentors and friends, never enemies. Even when there are difficulties, they are mostly small ones. I can solve them myself. Brother Wang, you may leave. How can Wang Qingxiao leave? The blood coffin is still unclaimed. His eyes rolled, and he said earnestly, How can that be? Brother Jiang has granted me heavenly grace, and I shall not leave without repaying it. How would the world see that? What kind of trouble are you talking about? Although I, Wang, am not exceptionally talented, I have some means and willing to alleviate Brother Jiang's burdens. Hearing such dignified words, Jiang Fan's lips curled into a faint smile unnoticed. He knew Wang Qingxiao wouldn't leave without getting the blood coffin. Letting him go was merely a test, since he still remembered the blood coffin. Then there was no worry of him running away. Just cooperate obediently to copy the void flow thunder force and fire strength. Jiang Fan said helplessly, All right. If I don't let you help with a small favor, you won't feel good. Wang Qingxiao sneered inwardly. Fool. Helping others at my cost is very steep. You'll regret it then. Outwardly, he patted his chest and said, Brother Jiang, I'll solve this for you right away. He must think of a way to lure Jiang Fan away from the Jian family's experts. Only then can he act. Hearing this, Jian Lanjiang put away the war corpse and said, Little friend Jiang, wait. He flew forward, grasped Jiang Fan's hand gratefully. You previously helped my Jian family and now helped us reclaim the war corpse. Please come to my Jian family as a guest. I will treat you with the utmost hospitality. Jiang Fan had no leisure for banquets. He bowed and thanked. Family Master Jian, no need for ceremony. I have urgent matters to handle. Visiting the Jian family can wait. Jian Lanjiang observed Jiang Fan's cultivation, stroked his beard and said, You recently broke through to the 3 apertures nascent soul. Your foundation has yet to stabilize, right? With the ancient giant catastrophe ahead, such cultivation is far from enough. Jiang Fan looked helpless. He knew that his realm was his weakness. Yet he broke through at the fire worship sect less than 10 days ago. The foundation isn't stable. Forcefully opening the 4th aperture would create hidden dangers for future divinity transformation. Jian Lanjiang smiled and said, Since little friend Jiang helped us reclaim the war corpse, as a token of gratitude, let me help you with your realm. The Jian family possesses a slaughter stele, inscribed with various powerful slaughter skills and capable of projecting an image reaching one's strength limit. Little friend Jiang could battle continuously against that image. Within 3 days, the foundation of the 3 apertures nascent soul would be solidified. Jiang Fan's heart burned with excitement. The best way to solidify one's foundation has always been to engage in life-and-death battles. But such opportunities are scarce and dangerous. In nearly 10 days, Jiang Fan encountered many dangers, but few offered a chance for an exhilarating battle. The Jian family's mysterious projection was undoubtedly an excellent opportunity. He immediately changed his mind and said, Then I'll trouble the Jian family once more. He then turned to Wang Qingxiao. Brother Wang, you? Before Jiang Fan could finish, Wang Qingxiao quickly said, I'll wait for you outside the Jian family. I won't leave until the debt is paid, not even for a day. First, he had to get that blood coffin, then quickly leave Taikang State. Besides, the blood coffin was still a concern for Jiang Fan, and Wang Qingxiao had no reason to run away. He glanced back at the Heavenly Mechanism Pavilion. Currently, with the White Bone Alliance's influence gone, The external threat to the heavenly mechanism pavilion is eliminated, and it is guarded by true word venerable, and the tiger demon emperor's family of 3 who are still on their way. Before the ancient giant arrives, the heavenly mechanism pavilion is already very safe. No need to worry anymore. After informing Liu Qingxian and the others that the danger was cleared, he left with the Jian family. Sometime later, somewhere in the back mountain of the heavenly mechanism pavilion, Liu Qingxian and Yue Mingzhu were flying by the high sky. Liu Qingxian regrettably said, "When did this start where Jiang Fan keeps coming and going in such haste? Even wishing to have some time alone is a luxury now. Who doesn't feel the same?" Yue Mingzhu sighed lightly. She suddenly seemed to notice something, her eyes flickering with a soft glow, watching the direction where Jiang Fan disappeared. A moment later, a deep shock appeared on her face. Qingxian followed her gaze. She couldn't see anything within her sight. Curiously, she asked, "Can it really be better than Jiang Fan's fortune?" In her view, Jiang Fan's fortune was already incredibly defiant. Step by step, from having no spirit root in Lonely Boat City, he leapt to being quite well known in Taikang State. He even brought those around him to rise together. This fortune, it's rare in the world, right? Yue Mingzhu shook her head. Our husband's fortune is very complex, with both omens and blessings shrouded in uncertainty. But the person next to him, his fortune is like a rainbow, comparable to a child chosen by heaven. Liu Qingxian tilted her head and asked, "What do you mean by fortune like a rainbow?" Yue Mingzhu thought for a moment. She raised her little finger. "This is our husband's fortune." She pointed at the kingly mountain range behind her. "This is that person's fortune." Ah, Liu Qingxian's beautiful eyes widened in shock, looking towards the kingly mountain range. "Is it really that exaggerated?" Yue Mingzhu's face was full of shock. "Not exaggerated at all. I feel that even if we combine the fortunes of all living beings in Taikang State, it might not amount to his." Liu Qingxian was directly stunned. No wonder Yue Mingzhu used the words "child chosen by heaven." This fortune, it's too absurd, isn't it? She immediately felt upset. It's so unfair. Why does Jiang Fan have so little and that person has so much? Yue Mingzhu was also particularly displeased. Why does he have more fortune than her husband? Suddenly, she seemed to discover something and showed surprise. Wait, there's something wrong with this person's fortune. Normally, a person's fortune is fixed and unchanging unless someone like me cultivates the emperor's gaze technique to seize others' fortune. But this person's fortune is dripping away, and the direction it's flowing towards is our husband. Liu Qingxian asked in surprise, "Are you saying our husband is absorbing his fortune?" Yue Mingzhu crossed her arms over her chest and showed a smiling face. "Exactly. That person might just be our husband's lucky star." On this thought, she shifted her gaze, mischievously said, "Since he is our husband's lucky star, he shouldn't mind if I take a little of his fortune too, right? If I can take a bit, it's only fair I get some extra to share with Sister Qingxian, right? We all have a share. Can't leave out Fairy Yunshang and Slave Heart Demon Emperor, can we?" She immediately performed a secret technique, opening her mouth toward the massive fortune that was about to disappear and gently inhaling. At once, a colorful aura visible only to her separated from Wang Qingxiao's body and floated above the heavenly mechanism pavilion. The aura split into 4 and merged into the 4 people's bodies. "Did we capture it? There's no change at all." Liu Qingxian didn't notice any changes in her body. Nothing unusual happened around them either. Yue Mingzhu wasn't sure either. "It's my first time capturing someone's fortune. Once it's captured, I'm not sure what changes it might bring either." Just as she was speaking, tweet, suddenly a sharp sound echoed from the sky. Both women looked up. A small pill furnace burning red-hot was falling from the sky, sparking all the way. Finally, with a boom, it landed at their feet. The lid of the pill furnace was blasted open, revealing the inside. 4 golden, shining 6th-grade spirit pills lay quietly within. Liu Qingxian's eyes went vacant, dumbfounded. Is this the benefit of fortune this straightforward? Things just fall from the sky to one's feet. Yue Mingzhu's small face was also filled with astonishment. So when someone's fortune is at its peak, treasures start knocking on your path as you walk. What kind of harsh life have I lived before? She was enviously staring with red eyes at Wang Qingxiao's fortune. Thinking again, why fear when she had the emperor's gaze technique? If resources become scarce in the future, she'd just catch Wang Qingxiao and absorb more of his fortune. After absorbing, just lie down and wait for treasures to fall from the sky. At this moment, a brand new world doorway was slowly opening to her. At the same time, in the extreme east of Taikang State, above the sky, A middle-aged figure, surrounded by ice and fire dual aura with a faint divine ring on the back of his head. He exuded an unparalleled demonic aura, makes the entire sky tremble. But at this moment, he was staring blankly at the disappearing rift in front of him. A trace of confusion showed in his eyes. My furnace of ice and fire divine pills. Ran away with the furnace. On his shoulder, a pearl-sized flaming round bead floated. It spoke in a childlike voice, Master. What happened? The thing ran and ran, then suddenly tripped, and the furnace fell into the void rift. Too coincidental, isn't it? The middle-aged gazed towards the sky replied, It's not coincidence, it's fate. The flaming round bead said, Fate. Should we still find it? The middle-aged man withdrew his gaze and looked at the front, a staggering figure faintly visible. His left eye burst with blinding cold light, his right eye engulfed in flame. Since it's fate, let it flow with the 4 ice and fire divine pills. They have their own master. But this 9-aperture nascent soul who stole the divine pill, he must pay the price. And half a year ago, the evil crow venerable who wanted to capture me to refine into a yin corpse, he seemed to be from Taikang State too, right? Since I've come to Taikang State, I'll settle both accounts at once. Jian family square. Waishuang, you seem worried. A young man about 25 or 6 years old, tall and handsome, withdrew his nascent soul power. Jian Waishuang staggered back several steps. The redness in her eyes receded like tide. She bowed, Thank you for your concern, senior brother Zong, I'm fine. The youth before her was a prodigy-level expert from one of the 7 great sects, the Divine Movement sect. Zong Kaisheng. His cultivation reached the dreadful 7-orifice nascent soul. He's one of the Taicheng 18 sons. The so-called Taicheng 18 sons refers to the 18 recognized strongest young prodigies in Taikang State, aged between 20 to 30 years. They are the ones most likely to awaken from nascent soul frenzy and reach divinity. At least, every divinity transformation realm of the past has been born from historical Taicheng 18 sons. Scarcely anyone else can defy destiny. It's no exaggeration to say they are the strongest fire seeds of Taikang State. Each one possesses infinite possibilities. Zong Kaisheng comforted. Are you worried about your family's war corps, so uninterested in sparring? What's done is done. Regret and worry are useless. You should look forward. Jian Waishuang raised her willow leaf brows. She was puzzled why Zong Kaisheng, with whom she had no usual dealings, suddenly visited the Jian family. Casually acquaintance enough to spar with her, guide her cultivation. Now even speaking kindly of her. Turns out it was probing the truth about the lost war corpse. A sharp light flashed in her eyes. Before grandfather returns, she wouldn't casually reveal family secrets. With a turn of her lovely eyes, she said, The war corpse? What's wrong with the war corpse? I'm just distracted because I encountered a very skilled peer feeling a setback. She casually used Jiang Fan as a scapegoat. Zong Kaisheng secretly admired. As expected of Jian Lanjiang's personally trained granddaughter, she immediately realized he was probing for information. She already has the temperament of a female young master who can handle affairs independently. He gave a gentle smile and casually joked, Who could make Waishuang's mindset suffer a setback? Could it be one of our Taikang 18 sons? Jian Waishuang shook her head and said, Not yet. But he far exceeds the requirements to be among Taikang 18 sons. Recalling Jiang Fan battling alone against 2 6th-stage nascent soul experts and 4 5-apertures nascent soul experts of the Jian family. A sense of shock filled her heart that could not be erased. The setback may have been exaggerated, but her pride was indeed hurt. Oh, Zong Kaisheng had merely asked casually. Unexpectedly, Jian Waishuang provided such a response. His attention was successfully drawn. He asked in surprise, How old is he? If they were those close to 30, almost falling out of the youth ranks, it would not be surprising. Having tempered themselves for so long, they could break through to the 7 apertures nascent soul at any time, reaching the standard of the 18 sons. Jian Waishuang looked at Zong Kaisheng meaningfully. If she remembered correctly, Zong Kaisheng entered the ranks of the 18 sons just in his early 20s. Among the 18 sons, he counted as very young. He often took pride in it. Thinking of this, she couldn't help but seize the chance to hit him, said, 19. Zong Kaisheng was taken aback. What? 19? The 18 sons' age starts from 20 because martial artists under 20 find it hard to elevate their strength to a sufficient height. Only after several years of tempering could one hope to reach the minimum standard of the 7 apertures realm. Waishuang, are you joking? Our 18 sons leader that venerates disciple joined in their 20s. 19, do you think I believe that? Watching Zhang Heng's surprised expression, Jian Waishuang felt quite satisfied. I'm not the only one whose pride is shaken. She continued to strike. He recently made a move at my Jian family. Single-handedly suppressed 2 sixth-stage nascent soul experts and 4 5 apertures nascent soul experts from my clan. You're aware of my Jian family's martial artist's strength, right? The smile on Zhang Heng's face gradually turned to seriousness. The Jian family, due to cultivating slaughter skill, their divine skills enhance a level due to its atmosphere. With their slaughter skill fully unleashed, 6th-stage nascent souls can exchange several blows with 7 aperture nascent souls. That 19-year-old boy suppressed 2 6th-stage nascent souls on his own. His strength, even if not reaching 7 apertures, was close enough. He felt somewhat agitated. A sense of being surpassed filled him. Who is he? When did such a person appear in taking state? He asked with furrowed brows. Whoosh, whoosh, whoosh. Several powerful presences swiftly arrived over the Jian family. Zhang Heng looked up. It was Jian Lanjiang and 10 atorifious nascent soul experts carrying shacklements. He leaped forward to greet. Heng greets Jian family master and all Jian family seniors. Jian Lanjiang was surprised when he saw him. Soon realizing his intention, he nodded lightly. The visit from an 18 son brightens my humble abode. Waishuang, entertain Mr. Zhang well. After a perfunctory remark, he warmly took Jiang Fan's arm with a smile. Little friend Jiang, no matter what, I must treat you to 3 cups today. You must grant me this chance. The 10 atorifious nascent soul experts accompanying him all chimed in. Without allowing Jiang Fan to speak, they invited him into the Jian family's hall for hosting guests. Only Zhang Heng and Jian Waishuang remained present. Zhang Heng, puzzled, looked at the boy being treated with respect by the Jian family master and his seniors. Waishuang, who is that? As a disciple of the 7 great sects Divine Movement sect and one of the 18 sons, he was sidelined. This unknown boy received such grand hospitality. The stark contrast was hard to ignore. Jian Waishuang smiled. He's the one I spoke of. Named Jiang Fan. He ranked first on the heavenly ascending ancient road, wielded the ability of the connecting sky-black pillar, and as a prodigy of the fire worship sect, surpassed peers. The last event Zhang Heng perhaps did not know. But the first 2 were notorious major events. How could he not know? So, he is Jiang Fan. But if he could join the heavenly ascending ancient road, shouldn't he still be in the core formation realm? The heavenly ascending ancient road only allows those below the nascent soul realm to participate. And how long had it been since the heavenly ascending ancient road? A mere 2 months at most. Jian Waishuang was stunned. Wait, not right. In 2 months, Jiang Fan leapt from the 9th layer of core formation to a level capable of contending with 7 apertures nascent souls. Was there a mistake somewhere? It took her a full 1.5 years to go from the 9th layer of core formation to now. To reach the strength of 7 apertures nascent soul, still about a year away. Jiang Fan took only 2 months to traverse her 2.5 years. A large question mark arose in her mind involuntarily. Am I actually trash? Originally wanting to strike Zhang Heng. In the end, she got hit herself. Guest hall, unable to resist everyone's hospitality, Jiang Fan had a few more drinks. Jian Lanjiang only then let him be, laughing heartily. With the war corpse returning, I am greatly relieved. Though it was used once by the White Bone Alliance leader, wasting an opportunity. But at least it came back. Jiang Fan immediately understood. The war corpse doesn't attack indefinitely. After all, it's just a corpse relying on remnants of its lifetime power to slay foes. It's logical to be limited in usage. Even so, it is impressive. It can even slay the giant king. In Taikang state, amongst 3 gods and 1 bodhisattva, who dares claim to slay the giant king? With it, the Jian family is safer than the 3 god sect. Thinking of this, Jiang Fan expressed the request he had been brewing for some time. Jian family master, I have a humble request. Jian family master's eyes gleamed. He smiled. Is it concerning the heavenly mechanism pavilion? You wish for my Jian family to protect the heavenly mechanism pavilion members. Experience comes with age. Before he speaks, the intent is clear. Jiang Fan said, what does Jian family master think? Jian Lanjiang examined Jiang Fan with a thoughtful gaze. Do you think you are the first to make such a request? Jiang Fan replied without hesitation. Many must have. With the ancient giant's arrival imminent, everyone's wary. Sects with a venerate station do not fear. But middle and small sects must surely seek protection everywhere. Jian family must be a much sought-after candidate. Jian Lanjiang put down the cup and nodded lightly. Indeed, many small sects even wish to join my Jian family become vassals, just to survive the impending calamity. But I refused them all. Even sheltering ourselves is stretch enough. We lack strength to protect others. Jiang Fan nodded slightly, the expected answer. Facing great disaster, every resource is extremely precious. Everyone must think for themselves. But Jian Lanjiang suddenly smiled mysteriously. His tone shifted. Yet, little friend Jiang has done such a great favor for my Jian family. I am willing to make an exception for little friend Jiang, provided that little friend Jiang helps me with a small matter. Fan didn't think much of it until these 3 words were spoken. He asked suspiciously, Jian family master, are you sure it's a small favor? Jian Lanjiang picked up his wine cup, gazing into the drink, and said meaningfully, I am named the family head, but I am merely a proxy pushed forth by the elders in the clan. There are many things I cannot decide on my own. This, you should understand, right? Jiang Fan nodded. Whether it's the 3 God sect or the 7 great sects. The reason 7 orifice nascent souls can manage the sect is due to the unique nature of the nascent soul realm system. 8 orifice is half insane, 9 aperture is fully insane. For sect management, they delegate trustworthy 7 aperture's disciples to handle affairs. In small matters, the sect master can decide by himself, but major decisions must be made by clear-headed 8 orifice nascent souls. The Jian family is the same. Jian Lanjiang said, I am very willing to shelter the heavenly mechanism pavilion, but I need a reason that can convince the elders to agree. He looked at Jiang Fan with a meaningful smile, eyes full of appreciation. I have thought of a very good reason for you, and that is for you to marry into the Jian family. Jiang Fan was caught off guard. The wine in his mouth was sprayed out. He widened his eyes. Marriage alliance? No, I already have a fiancé, several confidants. I really can't delay your family's girls anymore. Jian Lanjiang waved his hand. What's the harm in that? You can marry into our family, and the other women can be considered concubines. That is even more impossible. Marry into the Jian family? Where would that leave Su Yoran and Fairy Yun Shang? Jiang Fan spoke seriously. Jian family master, I appreciate your kindness. Regarding sheltering, let's pretend I didn't bring it up. He made this request to leave a way out for the heavenly mechanism pavilion, not to rely entirely on the Jian family. Exchanging marriage for protection seems too frivolous. Jian Lanjiang clicked his tongue and said, Our Jian family has many beautiful juniors. I will certainly find you an outstanding one. So he still wanted to marry off one of the branch family girls to him. He thought it might be Jian Weishuang. Jiang Fan was even more unwilling to consider it. He shook his head and said, Jian family master, I've drunk enough wine. Could I perhaps train for a few days before the slaughter Stele? He finally understood why Jian Lanjiang was so insistent on persuading him to return to the Jian family. It turns out he wanted to recruit him into the Jian family. His potential to subdue a 9-aperture nascent soul and overpower 6 strong members of the Jian family inspired admiration from him. Thus came the warm invitation. Jian Lanjiang watched Jiang Fan for a moment, a thought flickering in his mind, considering whether to let Jian Weishuang marry him, but he restrained himself. All right, let's not mention this matter anymore. Let's drink a few more cups. I will personally take you to the slaughter Stele. No matter how excellent Jiang Fan is, he is still just one person. The heavenly mechanism pavilion behind him cannot compare to a giant like the Jian family. Letting the precious granddaughter marry him wouldn't be worth it. Not long after, the banquet ended, and Jiang Fan came to the depths of the Jian family, a hall beside the madhouse. In the center of the hall, there was an ancient stele 100 feet long with traces engraved on it. It was like an arena, the traces filled with unknown divine power treasure techniques. The difference being, the arena was very ancient. The stele, in contrast, was relatively recent. The slaughter stele fell from the sky in Taikang State hundreds of years ago. Our Jian family's ancestors, with their superior skills, seized it first. The slaughter skills on it have brought us boundless benefits, but also endless troubles. Jian Lanjiang looked at the stele with a complicated gaze, saying, If you are interested, you can also practice the slaughter skills you want, but you must be mentally prepared for the consequences. Jiang Fan nodded. Thank you, senior, I will carefully deliberate. He took a deep breath and approached the stele. From within the stele, a spatial light shot out, absorbing him into the stele's interior. From the outside, a new mark was added to the stele, recording the number of attempts. I wonder how long he can last. Jian Lanjiang was somewhat curious. Facing an opponent at one's own strength limit, whether one can win depends on one's actual combat experience. The more victories, the higher the survival chances in a real life-and-death struggle. Until now, the best record was held by an ancestor who practiced the no-self dust cleansing technique. He maintained a record of enduring for a day without defeat. Jiang Fan's strength limit should be at the 6th stage nascent soul peak, right? I wonder how long he can last. Whoosh, whoosh. Zhang Keisheng and Jian Weishuang rushed over side by side. Grandfather, Mr. Zhang says he has important things to discuss with you, Jian Weishuang said helplessly. She accompanied Zhang Keisheng, but his attention was clearly not on touring the Jian family. Instead, he paid attention to the conversations of others everywhere. Until he overheard the elders' excited discussions about the retrieval of the war corpse, he requested to see his grandfather. Jian Lanjiang stroked his beard with a smile. No business, no entry to the Three Jewels Hall. Mr. Zhang, you came for the war corpse, right? Zhang Keisheng did not hide his intentions. Jian family master, you are wise. Junior boldly requests the Jian family master to marry the noble daughter to the junior, fostering an alliance between the divine movement sect and the Jian family. Jian Lanjiang continued to smile, not the least bit surprised. Zhang Keisheng had indeed come to inquire about the war corpse. If it was confirmed lost, the divine movement sect would go to great lengths to find and claim it. If it was retrieved, a marriage alliance would be formed. The divine movement sect was one of the 7 great sects, without a venerate in charge. The Jian family's war corpse was naturally something they coveted. Proposing marriage was only natural. Which daughter of my Jian family does Mr. Zhang fancy? Jian Lanjiang asked. He was happy to see an alliance with the divine movement sect materialize, especially a marriage alliance with Zhang Keisheng, one of Taikang's 18 sons. He was very pleased. Zhang Keisheng smiled. Naturally, it is Miss Weishuang. I humbly request the Jian family master to grant this. Ah, Jian Weishuang was startled and exclaimed, Grandfather, I don't agree. This was too sudden. Jian Lanjiang waved his hand, signaling her to calm down. Mr. Zhang, would you consider someone else? Weishuang is only to marry a member of the Three-God sect or disciple Chen Jing of the True Word Venerable. Others will not be considered. Zhang Keisheng seemed not too surprised. The Jian family would naturally save their best daughter for the Three-God sect. He smiled, looking at the slaughter stele. Jian family master, I heard that when this stele fell, there was a line of writing on it. It was because of that it caused such a scramble. The line read, one who wins 10 battles is bound to have the potential for divinity transformation. Jian Lanjiang's eyes glinted slightly, observing Zhang Keisheng. That's right. So, do you have the confidence to win 10 consecutive battles? In the battles within the stele, not to mention 10 consecutive wins. Even enduring without defeat is rare. Our ancestor who endured a day without defeat only managed to defeat 5 opponents, far from achieving 10 consecutive wins. Zhang Keisheng gave a slight smile. I dare to try. If I achieve impressive results, I hope the Jian family master will grant my wish. Jian Lanjiang chuckled. Young ones are really confident. All right, if you can achieve 6 consecutive wins, surpassing our family's record, there would be no objection to Weishuang marrying you. Last update before 7:30. I'll go. He walked towards the stele and just discovered there was a scale on it, indicating someone was inside. Jian family master, who is inside? Jian Lanjiang replied, Jiang Fan. No worries, you enter different spaces without interfering with each other. Zhang Keisheng chuckled. It's him, huh? I heard from Weishuang that he has the potential of the Taikang 18 sons. Just as well, I will be his benchmark. Surpass me, and it would mean he possesses the grace of the Taikang 18 sons. If not, he would have to go back and practice more. With a playful tone, he approached the stele and was absorbed into it. Jian Weishuang stomped her feet in anxiety, complaining, Grandfather, how could you agree with him? I won't marry anyone. Jian Lanjiang laughed. Relax. Grandfather knows what he's doing. Chen Jing came quietly one time, and he only won 5 consecutive matches before being defeated and leaving. Do you think Zhang Keisheng can rival Chen Jing? Jian Weishuang was shocked upon hearing this. Chen Jing came here, yet stopped at 5 consecutive wins. Then I am relieved. She took a deep breath with no trace of worry in her eyes. Outsiders only know Chen Jing as a 4 apertures nascent soul, unremarkable. But a direct disciple of True Word Venerable, how could it be that simple? If he stopped at 5 wins, Zhang Keisheng has even less hope. Jian Lanjiang said, "Come back in half a day for a look." Perhaps before half a day they would be out. Inside the space, Jiang Fan was battling a shadow. He was entirely pitch black except for his crimson eyes, like the slaughter skill practiced to the deepest point. Once he made a move, it was relentless to the death. His realm had reached the sixth stage nascent soul. His tactics were endless. In close combat, the bones within him could transform into blades, striking an unexpected, deadly blow to Jiang Fan. In long-range battle, he could unleash slaughter energy that disturbed the heart spirit. Besides that, there were various deadly and strange moves. Even he had soul defense techniques, and his battle experience was exceedingly rich. He almost fully reached the limit of Jiang Fan's strength. He had encountered many opponents of sixth stage nascent soul. Xianxia, Yi, Black Bone Master, all were cut down by his blade. The first two were considerably tough, the latter much easier. But this shadow before him brought unprecedented pressure to Jiang Fan. Every confrontation was perilous. Without resorting to several killing devices, it was extremely difficult to win. Yet this was precisely what Jiang Fan desired. He had never faced such an evenly matched enemy, allowing him to battle to his heart's content. Various tactics could be executed without hesitation. As the battle continued, his many tactics became more skillful and perfected. His battle experience had been tempered richer. Most importantly, his unstable foundation visibly solidified. Within 3 days, he could completely stabilize his foundation. After thousands of rounds, Jiang Fan's power was completely exhausted, and only then did he narrowly defeat the opponent. The shadow shattered. Transforming into smoke, it poured into Jiang Fan's body. The lost nascent soul power and physique power were quickly restored. Jiang Fan was secretly amazed. Was it so miraculous? Immediately, various slaughter skills used by the shadow before appeared in his mind. Defeating the projection can automatically acquire the opponent's slaughter skills. Jiang Fan was surprised again. This steal is too generous. He couldn't help but comprehend these slaughter skills that had put him in such a difficult situation. If he could master them, he could play an effective role in future battles. However, moments later, he suddenly opened his eyes, a trace of doubt flashing within them. Why do these slaughter skills feel so abnormal? Having comprehended many cultivation techniques, he already had an intuition far beyond ordinary people regarding the quality of a cultivation technique. The slaughter skills before him, in many places, evidently had intentional deepening of slaughter energy. Knowing that slaughter energy ultimately leads to loss of mind. The creator not only didn't attempt to reduce the accumulation of slaughter energy. On the contrary, they were deliberately guiding practitioners to deepen the slaughter energy. Being cautious, he gave up on practicing these slaughter skills. He already had sufficient methods himself. Slaughter skills were an enhancement, no need to provoke hidden dangers. At this moment, another shadow appeared before him. It had absorbed the experience from the last defeat and became stronger. Jiang Fan found it harder to deal with, but Jiang Fan also made progress, not falling behind, and engaged in a fierce battle with it. Half a day later, in the square, Jian Lanjiang was guiding Jian Waishuang's cultivation, saying with satisfaction, "The slaughter skills are now quite perfected, strength comparable to 5 apertures nascent soul. Next, if there's an opportunity in Taikang state, you qualify to compete." Jian Waishuang sheathed her sword, showing confusion. "Opportunity." Jian Lanjiang stroked his beard. "I received a bit of inside information. Qinshan Bureau intends to unlock a battlefield sealed for 1,000 years. That was the fiercest sight during the great battle 1,000 years ago. Countless venerates, giant kings fell within. There was even a great sage who buried there. If talking about opportunity, what could compare to that in the world?" Jian Waishuang was astonished. How intense was the battle 1,000 years ago? What a remarkable scene that battlefield must be. Jian Lanjiang said, "The arrival of the ancient giants is imminent. Qinshan Bureau also hopes to enhance the strength of the Taikang state's strong practitioners. However, whether to open it or not depends on the investigation situation of the connecting sky black pillar this time. If manageable, it is likely to remain sealed. If rather perilous, then it would be opened." Jian Waishuang's eyes showed a trace of surprise. "That battlefield, why is it sealed? Is there some secret within that they don't want anyone to know? All right, let's go have a look at the slaughter stele. I guess Xianxia Heng has mostly come out already." Jian Lanjiang floated away with his hands behind his back. Jian Waishuang followed, no longer caring about Xianxia Heng's results. Anyway, he wouldn't surpass Chen Jing. Her curiosity lay in Jiang Fan, asking, "Grandfather, do you think Jiang Fan might still be persisting?" Jian Lanjiang laughed again. "Impossible. Under the limits of strength, what's tested are the battle experiences and various methods of both sides. Jiang Fan comes from the continent, has limited learning. The fact he could suppress our clan's 2 sixth-stage nascent souls and 4 5 apertures nascent souls must already be the limit of his methods. And battle experience, the continent similarly lacks the chance for honing, probably also very average. Considering everything, do you still think he can persist?" Jian Weishuang was speechless. Due to that one loss, she indeed applied too many filters on Jiang Fan. In essence, Jiang Fan is from a barren place like the continent. The sect is just a newly emerging small sect. How can it compare with Xianxia? Jian Lanjiang recalled Jiang Fan's refusal of his marriage proposal. Shrugging, he said, "It's good that he realizes his own limits. For young people, encountering some setbacks isn't necessarily a bad thing." Steal one after the other. Jian Lanjiang focused on Xianxia, his eyes showing surprise. Already won 2 consecutive battles. As expected of the Taicheng 18 sons, flawless in every aspect. "Grandpa," a slightly trembling voice came from Jian Linyu's mouth. She widened her pretty eyes, staring at another scale, and said, "Look over here." Jian Lanjiang looked over in astonishment. In his expectations, Jiang Fan should have already been defeated. In fact, he should have lost many times already. However, the number engraved clearly showed 3. Jian Lanjiang's eyes widened. He actually won 3 consecutive battles. How is this possible? For a moment, grandfather and granddaughter were both shocked. Xianxia, who arrived only moments after Jiang Fan, had only won 2 consecutive battles. Doesn't that suggest that Jiang Fan is stronger in battle experience and techniques than Xianxia? Jian Linyu muttered, "Grandpa actually made a mistake in judgment." Jian Lanjiang's old face turned red. "Everyone makes mistakes. Grandpa was just a bit mistaken this time." Just as he finished speaking, the number on Jiang Fan's engraving changed again. From 3, it became 4. Jian Linyu was in disbelief. "Grandpa, are you sure it was just a slight mistake?" Jian Lanjiang also stared at the engraving in shock, his tone becoming uncertain. "Maybe just a tiny bit." The two of them stared unblinkingly at Jiang Fan's engraving. If he wins one more time, he will be on par with the ancestors of the Jian family and even the disciple of True Word Venerable, Chen Jing. 2 hours later, under their stunned gaze, Jiang Fan's engraving turned into 5. Both grandfather and granddaughter were so shocked they couldn't speak. Winning 5 consecutive battles, what does that mean? They couldn't even imagine. Thud. What jolted them out of their daze was Xianxia, almost forgotten, who fell out from inside. He was covered in dirt, his spirit exhausted, somewhat embarrassed, yet his eyes shone brightly. He successfully held on for most of the day and won 4 consecutive battles. In the entire Taikang state, he was considered top level. Although he didn't reach the previously agreed upon 5 consecutive wins, it was surely enough to make Jian Lanjiang look at him in a new light. "Oh, the 5th projection is really tough. I'm still lacking a bit, just a bit," he murmured, seemingly humble but actually proud. He thought he would elicit exclamations of admiration from Jian Lanjiang and Jian Linyu. Unexpectedly, they only glanced at him before simultaneously withdrawing their gaze, continuing to stare at Jiang Fan's engraving. Xianxia was taken aback. Is a 4-win streak not impressive anymore? Just that kind of reaction. Following the gaze of the grandfather and granddaughter, a striking 5 came into view, making him tremble all over. 5 consecutive wins? Jiang Fan, his head buzzed. He had expected to be the reference for Jiang Fan, to let Jiang Fan assess his own capabilities. Now it was the other way around. Jiang Fan became his reference point, showing him just how lacking he, one of the Taicheng 18 sons, was. In a dazed state, he said, Is he still not coming out? He's won 5 consecutive battles. What is he trying to do, break the records of those before him? It seemed to confirm his words. 2 hours later, the number turned into 6. Everyone in the room went numb. For the first time, someone had 6 consecutive wins at the slaughter Stele. Jian Linyu covered her mouth and exclaimed softly, "Grandpa, you weren't mistaken." "You were completely blind, weren't you?" Jian Lanjiang no longer cared about being mocked. He quickly stood up and said, "Mr. Zong, the matter of the alliance between the 2 families will be discussed another time. Our Jian family has matters to attend to now. We won't be entertaining you any longer." Zhang Kaisheng felt apprehensive, realizing this was a dismissal order. He understood that Jian Lanjiang foresaw Jiang Fan potentially achieving an extraordinary feat. There was a chance he might win 10 consecutive battles, reaching the god transformation talent, standard once achieved on the stele, thus clearing the scene early, not allowing anyone to know the result. He cast a deep glance at the stele, reluctantly saying goodbye. After he left, Jian Lanjiang took out the communication jade pendant and issued orders to the strongest members of the clan. Emergency notice. From now on, the Jian family refuses all external visitors. Those already in the Jian family politely see them off. No one is to step into the Jian family from now on. Also, bring all young female clan members with good looks and decent talent, regardless of bloodline distance here. Remember, they should all dress beautifully. Jian Linyu rolled her eyes. Grandpa, are you letting Jiang Fan select a bride? Imagining Jiang Fan seeing a group of beauties in front of him, free to choose, she felt displeased. Lucky guy. Jian Lanjiang glanced at her plain appearance and said, "What are you standing there for? Go back and change into something prettier, put on some makeup. You're in your 20s, not 17 or 18, yet you just wash your face and go out without any makeup. If you get overshadowed, Jiang Fan can't possibly choose you." Huh. Jian Linyu widened her eyes and pointed at her nose. "Grandpa, did I hear you wrong? You're making me part of the bride selection." Jian Lanjiang gave her a look. "Are you feeling aggrieved? Do you understand what winning 6 consecutive battles means? His chances of transforming into a deity are even higher than those of Chen Jing." "Hurry and go." Jian Linyu's mind went blank. No, that wasn't right. She just came to see Jiang Fan's performance out of boredom. No one told her that after watching, she'd have to be part of a bride selection. The commotion in the Jian family caused widespread dissatisfaction. The women who were to be selected as brides were displeased. The clear-minded, atoriferous nascent souls who decided the clan's major matters were even more displeased. An elder with a strong aura, almost reaching the 9 acupoints, arrived angrily. Jian Lanjiang hurried forward to Bo. "Senior Sui Chen, what brings you here?" Sui Chen pointed to the young female clan members outside the hall, expressing resentment. "You're allowing the young women of the Jian family to be selected as brides. Even if you're not worried about your old face, we still have to meet people outside." If word got out, what reputation would the women of the Jian family have? Such degrading treatment of one's own female kin was unexpectedly from the prudent Jian Lanjiang. This left him and the other elders feeling baffled. Jian Lanjiang quickly said, "Senior Sui Chen, please calm down. You'll understand when you see the slaughter stele." Sui Chen huffed. "What's there to see? No matter how formidable he is, can he defy the heavens?" However, when his gaze fell on the engraving, the striking 7 left him thunderstruck. In the span of gathering everyone, Jiang Fan had won another battle. Sui Chen's old eyes widened. 7 consecutive wins, what level of potential is this? Jian Lanjiang took a deep breath and said, "If he can't transform into a deity, Taikang's state will have none capable of succeeding. Therefore, I'm doing everything to tie him to the Jian family's cause. While this may tarnish the reputation of the Jian family's women, the benefits far outweigh the drawbacks for the Jian family." Sui Chen snapped back to reality. He quickly darted outside the hall, casting a glance over the many young Jian family women. Seeing their unwilling expressions, he turned his gaze and said, "All right, everyone else can leave, don't linger here." They, full of complaints, felt as though granted a great pardon. They didn't want to be selected as brides anyway. Sui Chen was knowledgeable and understood them, who would have expected. Sui Chen added, "Zhu Ru, Zhu Feng. My 2 granddaughters don't go, quickly come with grandpa inside." Lanjiang's mouth twitched. "Old thing, aren't you way too sly? Driving away all the other girls from the Jian family, leaving only your precious granddaughter hogging all the benefits. Fine, since you're leading the way, don't blame me for being selfish." He quickly shouted, "Linyu, you come in with me as well. Everyone else scatter." That's not right. The many girls from the Jian family suddenly realized. How could the family head and clan elder push their female descendants into a pit of fire? Could it be that there are great benefits inside? They began to contact their elders. As the rumors spread, a group of increasingly cunning elders came running. 8 consecutive victories. Jian Lanjiang, you and Sui Chen are such shameless old things. Sending away other families' women while keeping your own granddaughter. How could you stoop so low? Fine, if you have no shame, then neither do I. Where's my granddaughter? Get over here already." Senior Fu Lin, you only have a grandson. Where did a granddaughter come from? So a grandson doesn't count. Can't there be love between men? As Jiang Fan's achievements skyrocketed, more and more women from the Jian family came upon hearing the news. Originally, it was all young, beautiful ladies. Now, not only are there ugly ones, but also middle-aged women. As they claim, failing thousands of times, eventually you'll hit one blind spot. 10 consecutive victories? The hall erupted with astonished exclamations. Jian Lanjiang and many clan elders, their eyes were wide open. 2 days of continuous fierce battles. Jiang Fan finally achieved 10 consecutive victories, and the phrase that had long been erased, forgotten by many, echoed like thunder in everyone's ears. Those who win 10 battles must possess the demeanor of divinity transformation. The implication is, should Jiang Fan continue smoothly, he is certain to achieve divinity transformation. Perhaps 10 years later, perhaps 3 years, or maybe even this year. But he will certainly become a venerate. Their eyes were red with envy. If they could associate with him, their lineage would inevitably bask in unprecedented glory. Inside the stele, Jiang Fan fell to his knees with a thud. His eyes were bloodshot, his spirit utterly exhausted, having reached the utmost limit. Even though after each victory he received a replenishment, only his physique and nascent soul power recovered. The fatigue of the mind remained undiminished. Enduring 10 rounds of intense life-and-death combat, even Iron Man couldn't withstand it. Fortunately, the gains were astonishing. The foundation of the 3 apertures' nascent soul was stabilized beyond compare. He felt as if just a gentle push would unlock an aperture in the solid nascent soul. He decisively took out a bottle of mixed element 9-colored marrow and drank it. With no resistance, the 4th aperture successfully opened. 4 apertures, signifying entry into the nascent soul middle stage. A realm once considered unreachable, he had now successfully entered. It's really not easy. Feeling the nascent soul power doubled, Jiang Fan spat out a breath towards the sky, utterly drained at this moment. A dark shadow of light gathered before him. Jiang Fan quickly waved his hand. No more fighting. He really couldn't endure anymore. Unexpectedly, the shadow didn't attack, but instead quietly observed Jiang Fan and said, "Congratulations, you successfully completed 10 consecutive victories." Jiang Fan looked over in confusion. The shadow before him was indeed different from the past. Its hands were behind its back, its eyes no longer a blood red filled with slaughter, but a deep blue. Cautiously, he asked, "Can you talk to me?" Jiang Fan's heart raced with surprise. The shadow nodded. "I am the master of the slaughter stele. I am a remnant soul left within the stele." Jiang Fan secretly felt alert. In the slaughter stele, triggering 10 consecutive victories, it actually activated the remnant soul of the original owner. He couldn't tell if it was good or evil. "Senior, do you have any advice?" The shadow chuckled lightly. "Don't be tense. I remain here to offer a chance to those who achieve 10 consecutive victories." Jiang Fan remained vigilant. The slaughter technique that was left in the stele by this man had issues. Being offered a chance, he must be cautious. "Senior, what is the opportunity?" The shadow, hands behind his back, scrutinized Jiang Fan and said, "I give you 2 choices. First, become my disciple, and I assure you'll transform into divinity in 3 years." Jiang Fan's heart surged with waves. What kind of figure is he? Could he make a promise that someone will achieve divinity transformation in 3 years? In the Taikang state, with so many 9-aperture nascent souls, which venerate dares to say they can help them transform into divinity? Second, I offer you a slaughter origin, constantly by your side as you comprehend it. You could potentially transform into divinity through slaughter. Jiang Fan's heart shook again. Origin, like the fire origin within his body. His heart burned with enthusiasm. But soon he calmed down and pondered, "Senior, don't I have to pay any price?" Learning all that slaughter technique for free. Receiving a free origin or becoming a disciple. Is such a good deal possible in this world? The shadow laughed hoarsely. "What could I possibly gain from you?" "Choose one out of the 2. Jiang Fan thought for a moment and said, "Junior chooses the second option." The shadow slightly nodded, taking out the hand hidden behind his back. A thumb-sized, blood-red round bead appeared in his palm. "Together with the slaughter technique you've comprehended, this slaughter origin will grow continuously, eventually leading you to divinity transformation." After saying this, he flicked the bead into Jiang Fan's palm. Jiang Fan caught it with both hands and said, "Thank you, Senior. Junior will surely seriously cultivate the slaughter technique." He sealed the slaughter origin in a vessel securely. Reflecting to himself, even in the end, he doesn't forget to remind me to practice the slaughter technique. "You cunning old man, I can't believe you." Yet it doesn't hurt to utilize the slaughter origin. Suddenly, A flash of inspiration occurred to him as he secretly considered, what if I first cultivate it and then use star shifting to transfer it onto a yin corpse? In this way, I would seize all benefits while avoiding the pitfall. If in the future the cultivation technique proves problematic, at worst I'll sacrifice the yin corpse. Thinking of this, a smile appeared in his eyes and he cupped his hands, saying, "Thank you, Senior, for your generosity. Junior bids farewell." With a thought, he vanished from the space. The shadow stood in place, its pair of deep blue eyes narrowing slightly. He is indeed a cautious fellow. But who can resist the allure of divinity transformation, and who can detect the trap hidden within the slaughter technique? Ha, I await your slaughter divinity transformation. At that time you will surely find it surprising. Outside, Jiang Fan stumbled and fell out, not yet standing firm. He was caught by a strong, venerable hand on his arm. "Little friend Jiang." Jiang Fan turned his head, cupped his hands, and said, "Ah, it's the Jian family master. What is this?" He glanced at the old hand clasped firmly onto his arm, looking utterly bewildered. Jian Lanjiang pulled Jian Linyu over, smiling, and said, "Little friend Jiang, did you use acacia to bind my granddaughter previously?" Jiang Fan was puzzled. Why bring up past matters so suddenly? Plus, why were there so many people around? He nodded and said, "That did happen, but I had no ill intentions." Jian Lanjiang interrupted him with a wave. "That's correct. Our Jian family has an old ancestral tradition. Whomever binds one of our family's girls must marry her. Little friend Jiang Linyu is now your person." Wait a minute. Are you sure it's an old tradition and not one you just made up? Upper monk pulling over his two granddaughters, one in each hand. "Little friend Jiang, my Jian family has another rule. Anyone who achieves 10 consecutive victories on the slaughter stele will be rewarded with 2 wives. I've already prepared them for you. Please accept them." Another elder brought over a beautiful granddaughter. "Little friend Jiang, my Jian family has yet another rule. Anyone who steps off the slaughter stele with their left foot first has a chance to form a marriage alliance with the Jian family. Congratulations, little friend Jiang, you are destined for our Jian family. The bride is already prepared for you. Why don't you all get to know each other?" Looking at the group of Jian family elders lined up, ready to explain more rules. Jiang Fan felt numb. The Jian family's rules were a bit too numerous. He quickly cupped his hands, trying to stop their charade, saying, "I appreciate the affection from all the elders. This junior already has a wife and is not looking to marry again. I cannot afford to delay the various fairies of the Jian family. Please be understanding." Jian Lanjiang and Sui Chen Upper Monk exchanged a glance, speaking with deep meaning. "Young Master Jiang, today you must choose one. Otherwise, it will be difficult for us to let you leave." For someone bound to reach divinity transformation, the Jian family had no reason to give up. Jiang Fan's gaze flickered. Was there some significant meaning to 10 consecutive victories on the slaughter stele? Previously, for the marriage alliance, Jian Lanjiang only offered a girl from a side branch. Now, not only was his precious granddaughter included, a group of clan elders whom he had never met all wanted to marry off their granddaughters. And now they straightforwardly insisted he selects one to marry. He made up his mind, preparing to activate Cloud's shadow and disappear on the spot. But suddenly the power within him condensed abruptly. It was Sui Chen Upper Monk who seemed to nonchalantly place a hand on his shoulder, his old eyes gleaming. "Little friend, do you really think you can escape from the Jian family?" Jiang Fan felt a cold sweat coming on. The atorifious nascent soul held absolute suppression over him. Moreover, it wasn't just one present, but a group of atorifious nascent souls. His face darkened. This was forcing an involuntary marriage. Jian Lanjiang's gaze was earnest. "Little friend Jiang, choose one." 2 atorifious nascent soul experts casually moved to block the main hall's exit. 2 more flew to the sky above the main hall, to prevent Jiang Fan from escaping. Jiang Fan's heart sank. He couldn't marry someone from the Jian family, especially forcefully. Yet, even with 100 pairs of wings, he might still struggle to escape now. He thought and decided to use his amulet once again. "Ladies and gentlemen, you might not fully understand me. I am, in fact, the imperial messenger for the Bodhisattva and—" Jian Lanjiang picked up where he left off, saying, "Also the appointed translator for the Wan Jai Temple Venerable and a partner of the true word Venerable. Isn't that right? In the past day, I had people inquire about you everywhere. These do not prevent you from marrying a girl from our Jian family. Is there anything else you want to add?" Jiang Fan's expression froze. His resume had spread everywhere, hadn't it? What to do? None of these worked anymore. He was anxious inside, seeing the increasingly pressing eyes from the Jian family people. He steeled himself and said, "For me to marry, I must first consult my wife. If she doesn't agree, I wouldn't dare to make such a decision on my own." Jian Lanjiang laughed. "Who is your wife? I'll invite her over to discuss right now." Smirking gazes fell upon Jiang Fan, like a pack of wolves eyeing a featherless lamb. No matter who his wife was, if the Jian family wanted her husband, how could she stop them? Jiang Fan gritted his teeth and boldly declared, "My wife is the true word venerable." As the word spread, the whole place fell into dead silence, from the atorifious nascent souls to the clan younger generation. Everyone stared at Jiang Fan, not daring to believe their ears. Who? The true word venerable? Jian Lanjiang swallowed hard, frightened, and released Jiang Fan, saying, "Little friend Jiang, this is not a joke one can make." Jiang Fan took out the infinite ring, saying, "This was given to me by true word wife, worrying I wouldn't have a protective Dharma treasure when facing the connecting sky-black pillar. Before leaving, she filled it with power for me." The clan elders looked with narrowed pupils. The power within this ring made every atorifious nascent soul present antsy. It was undoubtedly the work of a venerable. Sui Chen Upper Monk's face twitched, also letting go of his old hand on Jiang Fan. Jiang Fan asked, "Shall I call true word wife over so you can ask her if she minds?" Jian Lanjiang quickly waved his hands. No, that's not necessary. How dare we trouble the venerable to come in person? Little friend Jiang should just discuss it with her when you return." Who would dare challenge a venerable for a man? Jiang Fan secretly exhaled a breath of relief, saying, "Then I will take my leave first." He cupped his hands towards everyone and took to the sky. No one dared to stop him. In the main hall, the crowd only responded after a long time, sighing incessantly, watching helplessly as a future divinity transformation venerable escaped. Jian Linyu crossed her arms, frowning. "Grandpa, is he really the true word venerable's man? Why do I find it hard to believe?" In her impression, the true word venerable was a heavenly fairy who seldom interacted with forces from Taikang State. Why would she suddenly become Jiang Fan's wife? Jian Lanjiang sighed helplessly. What's there to doubt? Would he dare lie openly? Even with 100 lives, he wouldn't dare. Jian Linyu thought and frowned. I guess that makes sense. Claiming to be the venerable's husband. How much courage does he have? Whoosh, Jiang Fan flew out of the Jian family. His scalp tingled with numbness. When the true word venerable wakes up, will she peel his skin off like peeling an orange? And then sprinkle seasoning, roast it over a fire. After roasting, fry it again in an oil pan. A chill ran through him at the thought. Brother Jiang, you finally made it out. Wang Qingxiao, who had been waiting outside the Jian family, greeted him. Jiang Fan felt some comfort. He might be in big trouble, but that's okay. Someone else was worse off than him. Brother Wang, I finally got out. Wang Qingxiao couldn't wait any longer. He wanted to drag Jiang Fan off to a deserted place, knock him out with a stick, and snatch him away. He calculated the time. Without using the transmission array, it would be difficult to escape even with 100 pairs of wings. But he had to get something first. Brother Wang, please wait a moment. I left something in the Jian family. He flicked his fingers and focused on an object, then threw the void fishing rod forward. In Jian Linyuan's room, he was feeling quite pleased with himself. Finally, no more scoldings every day or beatings every 3 days. He finished eating and drinking, took out the space copper mirror from inside. From the mirror came Jian Weishuang's exclamation, "Brother, how come you?"